Remember that time
hello.
Steven just like
Hey-o.
screamed at the start of an episode?
So happy.
I sometimes want to recreate that.
Did you guys do
I don't
your
remember.
pre-podcast peas?
I think
Anyone
something
gonna need a
happened
break?
with ETH that day, and you were just like, "Woo!" at the start of the episode. I forget what it was.
Could have been any day.
I mean, honestly, you should have done it with the ETH ETF. That was big.
Wait,
that
do we
wasn't that day? Oh,
No.
damn.
It
We
was
got
something
a-
else.
2 white shirts, 2 pink shirts? What's going on over here, boys?
We got a team.
Hey, you guys need some life. You need some color in your life.
We got contrast. That's all we need.
Is
Contrast
white
against
a color?
Yes.
Or is it the lack
Is
of
it the
color?
lack
I think,
of
is
color?
that black?
No, white is all color, isn't
What
it?
is black?
Shit. The lack of color?
What's white?
All colors?
Says the
Fact check
colorblind
it.
man.
I don't know. If you
You
combine all
sound like
colors,
Terrence Howard, honestly.
if you combine all paint colors,
what do you
don't
mean
just
the
get-
lack of color?
Don't you get brown? Don't you get like dark brown? I don't
Can't
know.
have all the colors. You can't
you-
have none of the
Did
colors.
you know that orange is brown?
Maybe in your world.
Fun fact. No, it is. Like,
You're
if
colorblind.
You're colorblind.
You don't know
No,
what
no, I
orange
just
is.
know these things like intellectually. I can't see them. But orange is actually a shade of brown.
I buy that.
Fun fact.
I mean, everything is a shade of everything.
Fact check me.
I can see it.
How?
Well, that's not true. Like you make green or no wait, you make yellow by mixing. These other colors that you mix. I can't remember how. You make
I've
the
read
colors.
somewhere.
Yeah. Never
That there
seen
would
a
be
color in my life.
red is a shade of orange.
Oh.
No, it's not.
Oh, come on.
Red is not a shade of orange.
Can we not be
Wait a
color technicalists
second.
here?
Oh,
Red
man.
is for sure a shade of orange, right?
What?
Get out of here,
I am
guys.
so done with
You
this
guys are
stuff.
You want to go
literally
get my color
smoking
wheel out of the
crack.
art studio? We can just settle
you're
this.
The only artist. What are the colors? How do colors work? Do you know anything
Well,
about colors?
RGB is a good start.
Well, my books are ordered Roy G. Biv at home. I'm
Yeah,
not
it's
allowed
not-
to put them.
It's not OGB.
I'm not allowed to do them alphabetically the way I want to. They have to be color
Wait,
coordinated.
according to your OCD or Erica's?
Erica's.
You stumped me on that one.
I
thought it was
want the
yours.
books for the purpose of the books. I don't believe in color coordinating books on a bookshelf. I think that's insane.
Mina just color coordinated my closet, like just my button downs.
Oh yeah, I'm
just
also
did that.
required to do Roy G.
Yeah.
Biv in the closet.
Gnarly.
Whoa.
I'm like, nobody looks in this closet.
I only have black to white.
Gradient.
Yeah, it's a gradient.
Did you
Grayscale.
know that wearing colorful clothing can actually make you happier?
Do you have one of those mood shirts? Like if you start getting angry, does it get red?
No, but apparently this was a thing I learned about today.
Okay.
That's what Chris asked me. He's like, "Is this one of those shirts that changes colors?" Apparently that was a thing in the 90s.
Yeah, like you would like
Totally
put your
missed
heat
out on
on
that.
it, like your palm, and it would change
You
colors.
buy it at Hot Topic.
Yes.
Apparently I need to order one for the pod so that people can tell if I'm upset or
That'd
excited.
be fun.
The thing you
Yeah,
don't know about
like-
Armand, he's always upset.
All right, team. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Alfalfa podcast. We are live on YouTube, like we are every Wednesday at 5 p.m. PST. We got the whole crew today: Eric, Armand, Steven, I'm Nick. What's up to everyone in the chat? I see Corby was in there early, Matt as well, Dan Simmons, Pilgart Explores, Tom Nom Nom. Salute to you, sir. Thank you guys for joining us live. Yeah, come join us live, or maybe check out the YouTube later. And subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already. We can tell there are still some lurkers that haven't subscribed. And like the video. And check out all the links at alfalfapod.com, including the Discord. There are a few ways you can support the pod. You can donate during the live stream. You can go to streamlabs.com/alfalfapod or use a super chat in YouTube, and your comment shows up on the screen. Let me see if I can play a little replay. We got one 10 days ago.
Ooh.
Oh
Just
yeah, look
Mike.
at that.
It says, "Happy birthday, Eric, you old man." We were talking about how you're basically 40.
yeah.
So he donated $40.40 to salute you.
Oh, wow.
Thanks, bud.
Yeah.
Thanks, buddy.
Damn, we're a couple of olds just celebrating
Yeah.
together.
A lot of
Mike and I.
olds.
Mike and I, just the two fucking olds in this group.
We also have the on-chain collectibles. You can collect the episodes at pods.media/alfalfa. Dan Simmons, as always, in the lead with 40. Zimvi, 39. Jensinius, 34. Lemon Cake, 4. And 0x Lucas, number 5. Thank you guys for supporting. All right. I thought I'd maybe step up our drinks this week. We were kind of like getting in a little trough.
Love the wine.
I agree.
Love the
People were
wine.
phoning it in.
Yeah, we were phoning it in for a bit. So rather than me explain what we got, I'd like Steven to critique my selections. Now that you're fresh off a nice wine trip, you wanna give me some grades on these 3 bottles of wine? Here?
Yeah, I mean, well, these are all abominations
You have to use
compared to
you have to use like a wine
Burgundy,
voice.
but
Well, you already call them abominations, so we're off to a hot start.
You have
no,
to use-
it's on a relative basis. What do you got? You got the Justin.
we got 2 from
Got
Paso Robles.
two Paso Robles. You
I
got,
recently went to Paso Robles. I had a great time. I think it's
did you
great
go to the
wine.
Just Inn?
I did.
Oh wow,
I went to the Austin Hope as well.
Ooh.
I hear
Austin Hope
Hope
Winery is amazing.
Yeah, they got good wine. I like Justin. Dow I hear is a little snooty,
Mm-hmm.
a little
Didn't go,
big
but-
for their britches.
Yeah.
It's like chill out, you're a Paso wine, you know. Calm down. And then we got the Prisoner, which is one of my all-time favorite blends. Is that an Orange Swift wine?
Gonna have to throw that ball right back to you, sir.
Yeah.
What the fuck does that mean?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand the question. I refuse to answer.
I don't think they grow any of their own grapes. I think Orange Swift they just buy grapes and then they make these lovely blends.
Okay.
Got the Prisoner. What's another good one?
They make
Machete.
good- they make
Machete's good.
stuff.
I always thought I was the super basic guy for liking Prisoner, but I really think it's
No,
just
it's a
delightful.
nice little fruity bomb and deliciousness in your mouth.
It's easy drinking. Nice thing about these wines versus the French wines is you can just like drink them. You don't have to have like a cheese plate or something.
Mm-hmm.
Because some of the French wine, it's really tannic, and then you need the protein and the fat
Something.
on your tongue to kind of to
Yeah,
to deal
having
with that.
very tannic wine without like something is
Yeah, it's
actually
kind of a-
difficult.
it's kind of a
It's not
no-no.
drinkable.
What does that affect? It's like the dry mouth.
It's like that chalk in your mouth.
Yeah.
You'll feel-
it's
yeah,
not
feel
even
dry.
that part is upsetting. It's that you're actually not getting the full experience of the wine without the pairing.
It complements it.
Yeah. Thank you.
So-
Yeah, you guys
what-
know how I chose them.
Well done.
I choose when I'm in the store. I go by flavor, red flavor, white flavor, and then I
A
go.
label guy.
Yeah, and then no. Then there's the middle shelf, and then there's the top shelf. Like somewhere in between there, it's kind of my
Wait,
zone.
hold on.
60 percentile.
Isn't
Yeah,
your
yeah,
favorite,
60%.
Isn't your favorite the Bella Gloss?
Yeah, but that just has good memories, so that's only
So-
why. It's not like
Okay.
I
I did hear you say that you were going to bring some of that this time, but you
I went to-
deviated.
apparently, I went to a shitty wine store.
I think you did better because Belgas is very light. It's Pinot. This is
Yeah,
this
and
is
it's
more.
Napa Pinot.
This is more.
It's like
you know,
it's no good.
Tough crowd.
Drinking that.
Steven, you delivered beyond imagination. Thank you.
Thank you for that critique. Also, Armand adding some color. Good
Yeah.
color commentator on the wine.
Floating
You got a
head.
lot of knowledge in there about
gone.
wine, actually.
He's pink today.
pink, no floating.
All right. Well, let's give a shout out to our sponsor, our post-alcohol sponsor, Zbiotics. Go to zbiotics.com/alfalfa. It's the drink you take pre-alcohol. It's the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. So you make it your first drink before you start having some alcohol so that you don't have a terrible morning after. Engineered by a team of PhD microbiologists. We met the CEO, PhD himself, Zach. Had a great conversation. You can search for it on YouTube if you want to dive deeps into the science and also the business of Zbiotics. Yeah, it's not necessarily dehydration that makes you feel like shit in the morning. It's that toxin, that byproduct that alcohol creates, acetaldehyde.
Acetaldehyde.
Ooh, good.
3 points.
We should just get hats that just
Say
say
acetaldehyde.
acetaldehyde.
Toxins
Just
for 400.
Nothing else on them.
But I'd want it like phonetically spelled out. Like, you know.
So yeah, take a chance on it if you haven't already. I know most of you have, but yeah, take a look. zbiotics.com/alfalfa. You get 15% off your first purchase, and let us know how you like it in the Discord. And thanks Zbiotics for always supporting the pod. We love you.
Well read.
Mucho.
We'll get a new Alfalfa legend in the stream tonight.
Ooh, what we got?
Elevate Bliss has
Elevate's
joined us
here?
live.
Oh my
Finally.
goodness. The
Good-
Bliss Man himself.
What is up, brother?
So good to see you.
Good to see
partner?
you virtually.
I
in the
think
chat.
Elevate Bliss was one of the first people I met in person
Mhm.
at Eat Denver, and he came up and said hi, and we had a great
Did
conversation.
he get you blazed up?
Got me blazed up.
Yeah, I know he did.
Oh my
I know he did.
god.
yeah, we know.
Oh
The whole
my.
town knows, man.
God.
You're streaking down the Broadway.
I only blame myself. I literally was like, light it.
Everybody was
do it.
like, "You probably shouldn't do that," including him. I think.
Oh my god.
We went to
Little
the
did I
moon.
know it was like 89% THC.
Were you just doing like snow angels in the floor
Literally
in
didn't know
Denver?
what I said for the rest of the night. just started making noises. Like literally, I was floating at the dinner, just floating.
Count on Elevate.
I started to get
Elevate you.
paranoid about everything, and then when you get paranoid, you start to go inward.
Oh.
And I hadn't done this in like maybe 2 years. I hadn't smoked in 2 years, and started going inward and not talking, and then I got paranoid about not talking, so I started to talk, and then like started to observe what I was talking about. It was so meta. It was terrible. Yeah, haven't touched it since again. It'll be another 2 years.
Well, good to see you, Elevate. Yeah, nice to have you. Thank you for getting your arm on high.
I'm sad I missed that.
It was good.
All right, let's do a little alfalfa round. Go around the horn and see what everyone's got.
Can we talk to the wanka?
Oh, that's
Oi,
right. Hey,
wanka.
boy.
Oh yeah.
Bruv.
Okay,
Brav.
so
Yeah, give me that.
Come on.
London.
no, I don't have that. in
London
London.
alfalfa.
No,
Uh,
no
do
bollocks?
you have-
Well, no, I
Soccer.
So I just got back
Salsa?
from London last night, and London itself is phenomenal, guys. Armand's traveled the whole world, hasn't been to London, and we talked about this a little bit earlier. It's like, it's either the first place you go, like when you like do a Euro trip, like when you're in college and you start in London, or you like skip that part and you say like, oh well, all of Western Europe
just
is
get
phenomenal, and you just like forget about London. So like I did it first, but I hadn't really been back. London is phenomenal. London is like New York, but like a little cleaner. It's probably a little more posh. Like it's just like a fancy New York,
Proper.
proper New York. And I went to the Manchester United game, like the FA Cup final game, and I guess my alfalfa is football fans, soccer fans are so fucking mental that like just don't go to the games.
Can you explain this to people? Because like I feel like Americans know, like, yeah, those guys take their soccer really seriously. They take their sport very seriously. Can you just compare the average Man U fan to the average like hardcore American, like let's just say like
Raider fan.
Raider fan,
So-
or Boston Red Sox
So
fan?
I see the similarities between like when I was there. I first of all didn't know what I was getting into. So like the stadium is split in half. So there's an east side and a west side, and you like can't buy a ticket to the east side if you're a Man United fan. You can't buy a ticket to the west side if you're a Man City fan, because those two things are like bifurcated, and there's like police separating each other. And they split the city as well. So like there's bars on the east side of town and the west side of town, and those bars get assigned to their respective teams. Wow. So I went to like one of the pubs as like the pregame, and immediately I knew I was like out of place. These guys are so into their shit that like I had to like just take a couple steps back to the background, just holding a beer, like in silence.
Hooligans or what?
Well, they're just like, I would say that I was intimidated, like physically. These guys are like very drunk and very shirtless and just really just aggressively drunk. And I was like with my wife. She was like one of two women in the whole vicinity. And this pub was like a big beer garden, right? It was like they just opened it up. So it was massive. And we were both kind of uncomfortable. Especially her.
Wow, to see you uncomfortable in like a large bar experience. I've never heard that before.
They are chanting and singing the entire time. We got there like hours early, and there's like never a moment where they're not like chanting and singing. I don't know any of these. And I just felt like I was a phony, you know, like I watch all the games. I like Manchester United, but I'm like not
It's
you.
like, hi, I'm here from America. Yeah.
Like I'm not one of you, and I
Yeah.
know that these guys' whole soul embodiment is this team, and like
So intense.
I'm like a tourist, you know, like I'm.
So intense.
Uh,
I always tell people, I'm like, it's religion.
it's a it's like more, yeah. I don't.
It's
yeah.
soul. Soul is the right
Soul.
word. It's like literally your entire essence, your being. You know.
So we won though.
And you were
Huge.
underdogs.
We were massive underdogs. We beat probably the best team ever assembled in the Premier League, is what I imagine. They've won
Oh,
six
definitely.
of the last 7 Premier Leagues. They're fucking epic. Champions League last year, etc. So we beat them, and as the stadium empties, right? Like, so they're doing this trophy ceremony in the stadium, and like Mina had already gone to the bathroom at like halftime. Man United was up 2-0 at halftime, and we're like our side of the stadium was already celebrating. So she goes to the bathroom, and people are like just raining beers on each other, like all over Mina. And Mina's like, get me the fuck out of here. So when the trophy ceremony happens, we're like, okay, time to go.
Oh,
But
man.
we also didn't realize that like everybody on our side stays. So we walk out with all Man City
All the
blue. Everybody's blue,
Oh,
and then
no.
our 2 red shirts. And we're just getting like
Because they're
chirped.
there to stay, to celebrate.
Yeah, you gotta
to-
like stay. But like there were just so many.
How chirpy were they at you?
chirping?
A lot of chirping. A lot of people just like walking up like right next to us and just like staring and like being uncomfortable
Wow.
in my bubble.
Yeah.
I'm just like holding Mina's hand, just like not engaging. Not engaging.
You weren't like getting in like John Wick mode. Okay, I'm gonna fight off.
Amazing.
There's
Dude, that's a little scary.
50,000 of them, and me and Mina wearing red shirts.
I mean, John Wick did take down 50,000.
yeah, I'm sure he could, dude.
Um,
Oh man,
That's a little scary.
it was scary. And then we like get to the tube station to like go back home, and like as we're just waiting for the train, like people like coming up to us, just like boxing us out of the
Bumping
tube.
you?
Like
They're
not-
super
like,
pissed
they're
off.
like, not you, like not your turn. And I was okay. This is intense.
And you
man.
can't engage.
There's 50,000 of them, and two
exactly.
of us.
No,
There
but the likelihood that they would engage like physically is high. Like
Dude,
there would be a push or a shove or something coming.
I will
very
say
easily.
there was one other Man United fan and his daughter. So he was like holding his like 5-year-old daughter's hand. And I just stood next to him because I'm like, you can't fuck with them. Like, and he kept saying, he's like, she's got a birthday party. I'm taking her to her birthday party.
Are you serious? He was out loud announcing.
Public service
Yeah.
announcement.
In case there's any confusion about why we're
We
leaving.
have to go. We have to go.
Oh my god.
Like, I'm going to stand with this guy.
You should have just brought
Oh
like
my
a backup
God.
jersey and just thrown it on, just in case.
But we won. It was like really awesome. And I had like a video to show you guys, but like it was just like a mental experience of like fandom and singing and like joy because we won.
He's already changing the way he talks.
Yeah.
Mental.
We gotta learn those songs
Mental,
first.
bruv.
Yeah, it was
I
awesome.
love the way that works.
Can you give me the alfalfa on some tailored suits in London? You previously had recommended maybe,
yeah.
for your little wedding ceremony, you should go to London to get
I told
tailored
well,
situation.
Our dear friend here is engaged to be married and he needs a suit. I told him, go to London, go to Savile Row, get the bespoke tailored suit that's
Yeah,
like
man.
molded to your body.
So what's it look like on
and
that
make
row?
sure
Like,
you take Suit Guy from Twitter's recommendations with you.
okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I actually, oh my god, I
Like
want to
that
tell you
Derek
this.
guy?
I actually saw some really posh dressed males in London.
Yeah.
The high waist was a
Dude,
thing. It
it's-
was back
It's beautiful though.
and it fucking worked.
It looks good.
It
Get
worked.
the fuck
It
out
looks good.
I
It
saw
looks good.
I saw it firsthand. I'm like, okay, this guy's got it.
Belt or no
Bro.
belt?
He had no belt.
It's definitely better.
Yeah, so I went to Savile Row, and it's like a street of like shops that have been there for 250 years. And we walk in, and Mina,
Fucking Kingsman vibes.
it's pure Kingston vibes. I think there's a place there called the Huntsman that is like James Bond's tailor or something. And we went into a couple of shops, and Mina immediately started shopping, like for me. And I'm like, I'm not trying to buy a $10,000 suit. What do I need a suit for? I'm married already.
Yeah, you're like, we did this.
So do you need an appointment?
No.
You can just cruise on in.
Just walk in. But like for the fully bespoke suits, some of those take like 6 months to create.
Okay.
So like,
Yeah, and
I don't know if you
multiple
have time.
visits.
yeah, and multiple. I don't know if you have time for that.
How do you
I think
choose
it's a
between
very
all
cool
the ones
idea.
available?
They all have different styles.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, you like choose your materials and
So
everything.
cruise down there, peek in a few, pick the one
It's
that
the
matches
tailor.
style.
The individual tailor has like their own style, but they'll also, kind of like work with what you give them. But they're known for certain styles.
Yeah, and you get the measurements, and then you go for the like fitting.
Yeah.
So you got to be there for probably like 4 or 5 days, I'd imagine.
So the ones
Yeah.
that I visited, they said they have 2 tiers: the made to measure, which we have in the United States,
Yeah.
but then there's the fully bespoke, which I don't even know what that entails.
I think it's just like literally pulling out the
like a blank garment.
blank garment material and then starting with scissors.
Yeah, gnarly.
It's
Yep.
wild.
That's good stuff.
Okay.
I have a wedding this weekend,
Okay.
and the cocktail party dress code is glam Americana.
Okay.
Have you
Never
heard
heard
of
of
this?
that. Never
Taylor
heard of that.
Swift or something?
That's too much. That's too much.
I've never heard of that.
I hadn't heard of it
That's
either.
the dress code. Glam Americana.
Is that like Gatsby?
Yeah.
No, I think it's like
Swifty.
I was looking at photos. It looks kind of westerny,
What?
but like not like I don't know.
Oh, Americana.
It's very confusing.
Is that okay?
I have to go out and
Westerny?
buy like clothes that I don't have for this.
That's too
which
much
is
to
very
put on your
annoying
wedding
to me.
gifts.
Yeah, it's just like
Yeah. Well, I
Chad.
wouldn't
If you
go.
have any glam Americana recommendations,
Drop the Pinterest
drop
board.
drop them in the chat for me. Help.
All right, who else got some alfalfa from the week? I got one.
Yeah.
Just
I know you got something.
just do more deadlifts. I did deadlifts this morning. I feel amazing.
That's a good one.
I was like walking straight and tall the whole day.
Yeah.
Felt great.
Your ass just hurts in such a. Okay, I'm gonna stop.
Yeah,
Do you
There
do
was no way
the
to
do you do the
complete that
hex bar?
sentence.
No, today I did the straight bar.
Oh,
It's
the
like-
hex one is
I
like.
guess what I'm saying is, it's like that. It's like the soreness that like you want. You ever like get sore from your workout and you're just like, it's painful, but you know that like you got gains and you.
I feel like the testosterone like jumps 30% for the next 48
yeah, you
hours.
feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
do you have like you like that exercise so much that you actually look forward to the next time you go to the gym to do that one?
Yes.
Okay, because I recently did some like clean and jerks, like or clean and press.
Yeah.
And I liked it so much, I'm like, oh my god, I can't wait to go back.
I
like,
literally hate that workout.
that's basically
I
like
feel like I'm gonna injure
it's
myself.
like a deadlift, but with this too.
That's like my favorite
Yeah.
lift. Yeah, I used to just only
injury
do like
waiting to
Olympic.
I
lifts.
actually feel like that could be like your
Reminds
workout.
me of like
they
CrossFit
make
shit.
you like so. Well, CrossFit is like you do
CrossFit
like
is-
100 of them for time,
Yeah, but CrossFit is terrible.
And then
which
you
I
wa-
used to do, and I hurt myself.
CrossFit is
somehow.
literally like, hi, I'd like to hurt myself.
Yeah, CrossFit's an injury. CrossFit's just like an injury.
If
waiting.
I owned like a rehab center or chiropractor, I would just put it right next door to a CrossFit. Yeah.
It's an insane workout style. Yeah.
I got pretty jacked though.
I've never
could
been in
s-
better
yeah.
shape than CrossFit.
Yeah, I've
days.
never been in better shape until I couldn't walk for 2 months.
All right. Anyone else got anything before we?
Oh, the follow up on the mouth tape. So
Bring it
you know,
home.
Instead of buying until Nick launches his own, which we'll promote on the pod, or I will for him because he probably will never tell anybody. Until he launches his own mouth tape, 3M makes just like a medical tape. Shoot, what's it called? I'll pull it up. But basically, like that is the cheapest, most effective mouth taping solution. Rips very easily. A lot of people were asking me about this after I brought it up, and I will say it's like really a game changer. It helps you sleep better. You breathe through your nose consistently. You don't snore. It's called micropore tape. 3M micropore tape. So it's literally like $4.70 for 2 rolls of it. Can't beat it.
That's killer.
Can't beat it.
Have you ever
So-
just taped the wifey's mouth shut while she's sleeping?
Good God.
Not while she's sleeping.
Just been like, you're
Not while
welcome.
she's sleeping.
How was your
you pervert?
How was your rest?
It's great. No,
Do you
I
feel
haven't-
good this
I
morning?
actually haven't done the tape,
They
but
like wake up.
Just wakes up like,
I don't know if the person sitting here wants to be called out, so I won't call them out. But there are other experiments like that that are fun to play.
I know who he's talking about.
You know, maybe straps and certain things like that are sort of fun to bring out once in a while.
So do you want to pull up the next topic?
who's he talking about?
Sure, Nick.
I know who he's talking about.
So I don't know who put this in the board here, but this came across the text thread this week.
Oh, yeah, this
what
is
what is
going
this?
all
Are we,
over.
we're just gonna play this?
The,
Give a
new,
little. For
yeah, new
people
version of
listening.
Canva dropped.
Okay.
The online kind of Photoshop light little design tool thing. And they did a little release presentation for it, and it was all over my Twitter feed.
Okay, so because I'm also in control of the laptop, I am only giving 30 seconds of this.
I think
because
that's
any
about
more than
all
that,
we can take.
I would not be able to tolerate.
Hit it, partner.
Can we just take a minute to recap? Let's do
Oh,
it,
yeah.
Let's do it, let's do it. You can redesign your work. Canva got that glow up. We redesign everything from the
Everything.
Customize your workspace space and make it your own. Ooh, now you making magic.
Nope, I'm done. I can't do it. I literally can't do it. So, cringe 1000 for me.
Isn't that like when you've made it, when you have one of these big events and you put your own employees in there and then do some cringy,
Was that their own employees?
Is this like
I imagine who else are you
Dunning-Kruger?
going to put in the crowd?
I think this is like Dunning-Kruger a little bit.
Oh,
like,
in the audience.
Yeah.
in a different kind of way. It's like Dunning-Kruger, not from ability perspective, but from a sense of like your inability to have self-awareness of like how cool you actually are.
Was this like an HR
Is that-
person being
What do you
like,
call that?
I got someone who does music. My nephew does music. He could perform.
Well, the ironic thing is that they're not the only startup that does this. They're actually emulating other startups that do this stupid shit.
Or is
and
that?
I think it's just so lame.
Or is it that like you kind of do this to like get all this notoriety for your product launch instead? Like you would just like launch your product and nobody cares.
No, you can't do that anymore. Yeah.
I don't like it.
Can't just launch.
But I know some people liked it, and some people thought like, "Hey, they really tried, and it actually wasn't bad, and it like the rhymes were good, and the choreography was good."
Rhymes were good.
I just don't get. It's just too corny for me. It's just
Might have
too-
worked. We're talking about it.
Ugh.
This has gotten so many millions of views now.
Has
It's
it?
Right,
kind of
imagine they just, like,
it's kind of brilliant.
They showcase like a graphic design tool. Like nobody cares.
I like wanted to hate it when I watched it, and I did at first, but then like as I watched it multiple times, like I was just kind of like, I kind of got into it a little
You
bit.
watch it multiple times.
It was like it was like executed pretty well. They really sold it. The funniest thing about it is like you have no idea if that's just like an episode of Silicon Valley.
It's
It's like
exactly what I
indistinguishable,
thought.
Yeah,
like
that was all the
indistinguishable.
comments were, like,
Even
this
the
is peak
fonts right
Silicon
there, it's
Valley.
just like it.
It's peak Silicon Valley.
You have no idea. That's why Silicon Valley was such a great show, though, is because it just
It nailed it.
really blurred the lines between satire and reality.
Dude, it nailed things like in advance too, like things that had never happened but ended up happening. Silicon Valley's goated show.
Is this Chris Baki? Is he like a comedian? I see him a lot. Is that his shtick? He's like a Twitter. He's like a tech Twitter
no,
comedian.
he like used to dunk on crypto protocols. I think.
Like everything he tweets is just some like comedy tweet. It's like
His-
a tech.
He says
Bro,
founders with
comedy tweet.
exits,
He works at X.
Indeed and Zillow.
Does
I
he
mean,
work?
his profile pic is literally him dropping a mic. So.
Whoa. There's a view more in the about section now.
Oh wow, Armand's finding things on Twitter.
Did you know about that?
I didn't know you could have like a whole multi-page
You
bio
didn't know. He
now.
lives in Danville. Oh God.
Oh God, I don't even know where that is.
Oh God. I used to live there.
Armand loves Danville.
No.
Armand, I see
Yeah,
solo 401k life hack up here next. Can we chat about this one? Because
Yeah,
this,
Was that supposed
are
to
you
be your
done with-
alfalfa? Did
are
you
you- are
did
you
you
done
abort
with
and go to the
Cringe
hostage
Valley?
state?
yeah, I think we're
well,
done.
it's not really my alfalfa because I don't have a lot to say about it. I guess what I have to say about it is I discovered this thread. Good Ankur Nagpal originally founded Teachable. Has done well. He's a founder of a new company called Carry. And yeah, he's got some good content about like personal finance and investing and things like that. I just think he's got some good founder content. But yeah, I think it's like a good reminder of the ability to have a solo 401k. So if you're self-employed, it's a really good option. Quick overview. It's a $69,000 tax deduction per spouse, tax-free compounding, support for Roth contributions. You can invest in any asset class, fully self-directed. It's a $1,500 tax credit if you set one up, and you can borrow against it up to $50K. So
yeah.
yeah, that's really the overview.
So, like, for example, I have an entity that I am the sole owner of. There's no employees. It's just me. And that owns my share of the different companies, right? So, with that regard, I'm the only employee, so this would be good. But I have a SEP IRA, which is a little different. It has the same contribution amounts. I think 2023 it was 66K. I think it's 69K in 2024.
I thought it was like 80 something.
But there are limitations. You can either put 25%
66,
of
yeah.
your profit for that company, or the 69K, whichever is less. So you have to have obviously
Very profitable.
you have to have a profitable company in order to to use it. But yeah, it has the same flexibility, same investment options. You can't borrow against it, but it is a little simpler to set
So
up.
you
How
can
would
invest. You can invest crypto in your SEP because we manage some SEP IRAs as a part of our firm for our clients, and I think we're just limited by the brokerage.
Yeah,
There's certain like kind of self-directed ones you can set up. Like there's companies, this is a little wonky, but you basically, they set up like the corp and you get a bank account, and then basically just by going through that, you can open up an account, and then like lo and behold, you can like sling shit coins in your crypto. But then there's also just like people who have started crypto focused ones. It's kind of a sick thing for crypto because it's like an asset class that you like, there's times where you're like, I should sell this, right? It's not usually like with like Microsoft stock or anything where you're like, oh my God, I need to sell. But there's times in crypto where you're like, this is going to go to zero, and you want to sell it.
And you can sell tax free. Not
Yeah,
don't
and
worry
you
about
just you can go in and out and in and out and
Oh.
in and out, and you don't have to pay any tax until
Okay,
the
this
very end.
is
right?
good. So why set up? I was going to ask, and you have both. Why set up a solo 401k versus a SEP IRA? You can put more money into the solo 401k since you can make employer and employee contributions. Interesting. You have
like you
better
could do a employer
So you
5%
could employ
match or
yourself
whatever.
and
Yeah.
then contribute for yourself as
Yeah.
an employee. Ooh.
better support for Roth
Sexy.
contributions. You can borrow money, which is nice, up to 50K,
Catch-up
or
contributions.
you can do
Yeah, you can't do a Roth
50%
version.
of the total or 50K. You can do catch-up contributions if you're over 50, and it makes a backdoor Roth IRA easier. I don't understand that one. How does it
Like
make
if you
the
want to
backdoor
convert
easier?
it to a Roth.
Which I do like that if you're young enough and you like invest heavy in growth. I do like the Roth
Just got
conversion.
to pay the taxes on the gains.
Yeah, but then like you get the tax-free gains later
Right.
on, hypothetically.
So
Right.
you'd convert the solo 401k to a backdoor Roth?
Yeah, you pay the
conversion
taxes on any gains
instead
to
of
date.
converting a traditional IRA to a
Yeah, but the traditional
to a-
IRA you're limited to like $18,000 a year.
Ah.
So this way you get
you maximize
You can-
the contribution
yeah.
and then convert to a Roth.
Yeah.
Right.
And when you do that, do you have to like keep track of that every single year and make sure like there's a lot of management with that to do the conversion?
Yeah, there's like
Like
tax forms that your CPA would fill out, and then whoever the
Yeah,
custodian
this
or
is bad,
broker.
but one of the reasons I don't even bother with that stuff is literally just like the management of it all.
I did it
Because
once.
like I would need to, I think we're kind of in similar positions where you'd need to do like a conversion to do the back door, but like I don't even want to mess with that.
I don't think they're
So
hard.
don't even
I don't
mess
think
with
they're hard
like-
to manage. I think you just go through
It's a
some
one-time-
custodian that like,
So, like,
kind of works through.
yeah,
it for you.
ChatGPT do it
Steven's
for me?
right. Like
'Cause,
it's
like-
actually much easier than even getting ChatGPT involved. Like I did it through Schwab once
Mhm.
on my own, and Schwab just had like a form like
End of the year.
within their browser that like I just filled it out like in a one page, and then it was like completed, and like I paid a tax.
So
on it.
whatever you contributed that year at the end of the year, you just convert easily.
It was so easy.
Wow.
Fun fact about
See,
me:
that's
my
dumb of
SEP
me,
account is
honestly.
worth $0 because I put all of it into like early stage seed startups, and
Ooh.
none of the companies worked out.
but you
what?
could have been our very own Peter Thiel.
Peter
and had-
Thiel.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, that's what I thought I was gonna do. It's like, oh, I'm gonna make like so many millions of dollars and not have to pay tax, and I'll borrow against it. Zero.
And you can't even
Gone.
use the tax losses.
Yeah, and then like I've been a bad boy and have it. Yeah, it's not good. I gotta set up a new one for
New
crypto.
entity.
I just gotta set up like a kind of crypto friendly one and use it for that because it's so good for that.
I got some alfalfa. I think the easiest way to set up an entity these days is Stripe Atlas.
Stripe Atlas.
Yeah.
Never heard of that.
I'll
Is
pull
that
it up.
like Stripe?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, so I used AngelList. A lot of people ask me about
it's like a legal
um,
Zoom type thing.
Yeah, it was LegalZoom for
A
a,
lot
long
of people
time.
ask me for
Bro,
LegalZoom.
I hate
would say
LegalZoom
this
with a
is
passion.
the best way. So, after a lot of research, like I'm distilling this down for you after like multiple entities, multiple attempts. They do a really great job. The fees are low and very, very simple.
How much does it cost to set up an LLC?
I mean, it depends on your state. It depends on everything, right? Set up a
$500
company
bucks.
for $500, and then I think like bylaws. If you're setting up like a C corp and stuff, and you need charters, is like another like 400 or something.
Hmm.
But yeah. Oh, here. 500, 100 for annual renewal. Yeah, this is the way to go.
I'll say on the individual IRA thing too, because I looked into it when I saw it on the Trello board. A lot of companies are offering this now. Like before, it was like a niched thing from like you'd go to like Alto IRA or whatever, but like Schwab offers it now. And before there was like high fees, annual fees, high trading fees. Schwab has no fees.
Yeah,
So-
I mean, I throw mine in
Schwab is
Fidelity,
awesome.
my SEP IRA,
Yeah.
and it's pretty straightforward. But if I wanted to do like hold custody of crypto and not just buy the ETFs, or say if I wanted to put it into some of the real estate investments, you could do that, but I'd probably have to like transfer it to a more customizable, like
So this
self-directed
is why I
IRA.
tend to, I guess now with like the ETFs, it's different, but this is why I tend to like do the non-tax advantaged account because it's just feels so much better to just have full control, not have it locked up, even though it's better for you.
But you have full control.
It's the ability to invest in what you want. I mean, the self-directed aspect.
But
now
you
that we
can
have
do
the
that.
crypto, that's different.
Like
But-
I have an IRA set up, and like I said, I can invest in stocks. I can invest in startups that go to zero. Like anything
you
I
couldn't
want.
invest in ETH until, well, you won't. You will be able to soon. And Bitcoin's, recently. That's
No,
what
I
mean.
could have. I would have just had to. They handle it. But
But like you literally, they would do it on your behalf and custody it for you.
yeah. Like I said, I don't have any money left. But if I did,
So not me.
if I did, but somebody else who has money in there.
Wait, I don't
SEP
understand.
still
You're,
could.
you're saying it's possible to custody crypto through
Yeah.
an
Mm-hmm.
how?
Through self-directed IRAs, you can.
Yeah.
No, okay, I didn't.
It's gonna get too wonky for this podcast, but it's not like insanely hard. It's just like just a thing you
What
have
are you
to.
buying?
What are you buying?
Yeah.
You can buy like spot Ethereum
Yeah,
on
you would set up
Coinbase.
like a separate Coinbase account for your.
You set up like a Coinbase
SEP,
account in the name of your SEP,
Oh, okay.
and then you're just filing. You just have to like file this
Oh.
paperwork that's like this is a this. Right?
It's not
just-
owned by me. It's owned by the.
Yes.
Got it. Yeah, I think it's probably worth it to do this tax advantage stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
People-
that's
people
the
recommend
Max those babies out.
Yeah, you got to max
My
them
my
out first.
CPA doesn't even like ask me if I want to contribute. He's like, okay, this is how much you owe, and send this amount to your SEP IRA. And I'm like, hey, brother, how do you know if I just have this cash laying around? He just, no, you're gonna do this.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
All right, let's. Can you pull up this Timu clip? We got to talk about Timu and Shein a little bit. So,
Timu.
You gotta break this down.
oh man, I mean
So
these.
for the viewers out there who
Come corner.
are not familiar with, is it Shein?
Shein.
I
Shine?
call it
Shine.
Shein.
Shein and
I
Timu.
guess Shine makes more sense. I've always called it Sheen.
Never even heard.
I asked the GF if she's heard of Shein and Timu, and she is a frequent Sheener.
I think everyone's a Sheener.
Everyone's a
Never
Sheener.
heard of Shein. I've only heard of Timu.
Okay, Shein is, I think, by valuation, the second largest private company in the world after OpenAI. Shein's huge.
But you're blowing my mind right now. I've never even seen
All right, so
this
so
word.
can you while we talk about it, can you pull up the SNL clip? I think it's in one of those tweets and get that one ready. So I'm gonna give a little primer
it's
on it,
ready,
and
baby.
then we can.
It's
show
ready.
this.
So give the primer.
So these are Chinese-owned e-commerce apps, and they connect the manufacturer directly with the consumer. So
How you do that?
the factories sign up, list it like a marketplace like Amazon, and then you can buy products for cheap. And after this video, we'll go through some of the products as I have Timu pulled up,
Dude,
and they're absolutely massive.
I know that all that fucking Coachella wear, like all these girls' clothes are like straight from Shein.
Yeah, they used to shop on like Alibaba, AliExpress.
Mm-hmm.
Especially that was a big like burner thing too. And now you can get it like, and people used to buy it like months in advance because it would take like 8 weeks to ship over on the boat to you. And now, yeah, it's more advanced now. Now it's like get this stuff in like 4 days.
All right, so let's
let's run
pull
the
this
clip.
up. Run the clip, Armand.
Oh boy.
All right.
We're fucked.
There was a great SNL clip this last week, and Timu is kind of like the bane of any U.S. e-commerce operator's existence because they are absolutely massive. So they have 100 million active users in the U.S.
What?
Yeah. So
1/3 of the U.S.
That's double the amount of people that own crypto.
so 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 Shein
Wait,
and
why is this not an election single voter issue?
No one's trying to ban it.
Yeah.
Oh
So
my God, if they ban Timu, like
Would that be a bigger deal than banning TikTok?
probably a bigger deal than banning abortion.
Never take away an American's right to buy something.
Oh my god.
To buy discount clothes.
minimal lead.
Actually
Stop
didn't
it!
know
I'm
that-
wearing a white shirt.
I have to be honest. I didn't know what we were watching. I know you said SNL clip right before, but I zoned out. And then it was like I thought this was like a real.
It looked
commercial. I thought it was a real commercial, and I started laughing,
Shimu.
thinking that it was just like some cringe commercial, but it's SNL.
So Shein and Timu each are sending 1 million packages a day to the United States. Each. 2 million packages a day.
It's pretty gnarly.
Timu spent $3 billion in ads last year as they were ramping up, which is absolutely insane. And most of that money goes to Facebook. And yeah, they've just like cornered the market. And, you know, Amazon is, you know, if you said, oh, what's the biggest e-commerce company in the US, you'd say Amazon. But like a very close second are the combination of these two. And to pull up,
How close are we talking?
I mean, like their app downloads, for example, are getting close to Amazon. Total app downloads in the U.S.
Oh, there's an app.
Yeah, that's primarily what they
Should've
market.
used
So
the
they
app.
don't.
Damn.
They might say, "Oh, get shoes for $5," but
Yeah,
like,
I see the ad all the time.
Oh, so they
YouTube.
advertise the app.
yes. And so if I pull up the app, I'll pull up some quick examples here.
Watch,
of,
what's
like-
going to happen is I'm going to get targeted by a Shimu ad today.
You're getting
no,
nonstop
guaranteed,
Shimu
because
now.
this thing is listening.
Shimu all
You
the
guys
time.
don't believe it, but this thing is listening.
Okay, I'm looking at shoes right now. $3.89.
For like shoes that look like
Yeah, they're just
regular
like
shoes.
women's random like
but
wedges.
But they'll do like dupes of like Christian Dior stuff. Like they'll do like dupes that are like $25.
Handheld vacuum, $8.48.
So Shine was listing for an IPO like this year, and I think they're going to go if they get approved. Like they're going to be valued at like $100 billion.
Right.
So it's going to be fucking massive
In the U.S. or are they
billion
listing
in the
dollars.
I think in the U.S. Like
Okay.
with at least with an ADR or something.
Oh
but
my god.
they're
And
massive.
The company that owns Timu is not new to this. So they also own Pinduoduo, which is like a big e-commerce app in China. So, you know, this is not their like first rodeo in scaling a company
It's
like
the same
this.
business, the same ownership.
Same ownership.
Oh wow.
So the reason they're able to scale is because of the way that the tariffs work in the U.S. So a normal like e-commerce company like ourselves, when we ship over goods in containers, we have to pay tariffs. Timu doesn't, because there's this rule called a de minimis rule, meaning if your package is worth under $800, there's no tariffs. So they're literally sending over single packages. When you order something on Timu, you're ordering something for like $10, $20, $30, and there are no tariffs on a package like that from China
Wait,
to
hold
the
on.
US.
So
hold
as
on,
long
hold
as you individually package the item, you can still put it in the container.
You're
No. They're
You're shipping a container
Why
with
would-
one.
No,
package?
they're air
why
shipping
wouldn't
these.
every e-commerce site? Where's the unit economics here that I'm
yeah,
missing?
how do you airship
Why wouldn't
6
every
t-shirts for
e-commerce
$3
company
and-
ship individually under
Nick
$800?
just got so excited.
Yeah, you know, he did.
He had to
You know
fix
what
his
he
boner.
did? You know what he did? First of all, he's definitely hard. Secondly, he did the gamer thing where you lean forward in the chair.
Okay, roaring
Yeah,
kitty
the
in
roaring
the building.
kitty. Yeah, all right. Let me teach you
Yeah,
guys.
I
a little
got you.
something, something.
Okay, so it has to be in individual packages. You can't put a bunch of individual packages in a container and mail it over, mainly because it takes like 40 days. So that's not going to work. They're air shipping these. And so the reason they can do that is twofold. One, they're shipping, 1 million a day. So with that kind of volume, you're probably going to get good rates. They're probably buying out the entire
So
plane.
reason,
they probably own the plane.
To
It's
slow
vertically
down,
integrated.
to slow down for the non-ecom plebs, it's because you could airship and you could do that, but your quantity is so much lower that it doesn't justify and doesn't bring down the average cost enough to be able to
So the
do
second
that.
part is, to your answer, is no, it still wouldn't economically justify it. I think these guys are just in a drag race for user acquisition and willing to lose money.
So where's their
on-
capital from? Are they funded?
I mean, when you have a Chinese entity, you're kind of, when you're that large, it's
State
hand
funded,
in
maybe?
hand, state, government. You know,
So
they
they're
probably have
playing
unlimited
Amazon-
amount of
they're playing
funding.
the Amazon game, but with like
State
a
funding,
federal reserve behind them.
unlimited reserve.
Right, right.
Wow.
And so they're probably paying.
Wow.
When I was looking at when there are ads on Facebook, they're requiring users for up to $45 just to install the app. Not even sure they were going to
Wow.
buy anything.
That's the ad I keep getting.
Right.
I've gotten it over 100 times.
And so this is like whether they have, you know, Chinese state money or not, this is like a good strategy if you're getting into a market this big. Like you're going to lose money, billions of dollars for a couple of years, but like once you're in and everyone has the app, over
hang
time
on,
the
hang
costs
on,
will
hang
go
And
up.
all they're really, really, really doing is feeding the dopamine addiction of America.
But I think there's like
Like that?
I think the bigger thing for me is like,
They're not giving you anything you need.
so you know how we like
giving you clothes.
you know how we've like
you don't
talked
need
about
Better than mindlessly scrolling TikTok.
Hold on, I gotta take. You know how we talked about? Yeah, everybody shut up. I gotta take. Shut up. No, we talked about like Ethereum killers or whatever. And we get these other things. Like, is this like an Amazon killer, like in actual sense? Like, because if they can just undercut price so hard, and shoppers just want to choose, you know, something good at the lowest price.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that because like if you shop Amazon these days, which you can't tell with some of these tools, but I can tell because I am an Amazon seller. A lot of the listings now are these Chinese sellers that have like 1.5 star reviews on these products. But it used to be the case where Amazon would wipe them out, right? But now they're just kind of like lingering there. And I wonder if Amazon is seeing the pressure from Timu and be like, okay, like customers are willing to buy this stuff. They understand the like trade-off that like, yeah, I'm going to buy a shirt for $6, but it may only last me like 1 or 2 wears. And so Amazon is, at least from my perspective as a seller, they're letting these Chinese factories sell directly. And in addition to that, Amazon is incentivizing you to send an inventory into their warehouse directly from China as long as you use their planes and their logistics
So maybe
system.
that's what keeps them afloat, is that just their distribution is so good in the U.S. That's what keeps Amazon relevant in like this low cost model.
I don't know. I think like most products you're going to want to purchase on Amazon and hope they're good and go for ratings. But then there's some things like the one-time Coachella dress you're
Right.
happy to pay like $9 for and wait 14 days for it to show up.
Right. I think this is like a bit of a tangent, but also relevant. You have recently started dabbling with TikTok Shop.
Mm-hmm.
TikTok Shop, I think, is gaining a lot of groundswell in terms of like the way American consumerism behaves.
Yeah, so our warehouse management software, they sometimes publish stats on, you know, what's the source of these orders, and they said TikTok Shops is like escalating a chart up and to the right.
Off the charts growth, and where like people like influencers can like create a video about their makeup or their dress they're wearing, and they can link directly from the video where people can buy from their video instead of like going to a website like Amazon.com or whatever. This is like
It's native.
it's a better user
Yeah,
experience.
Facebook has shops, Instagram has
Instagram
shops,
has it
YouTube now
now.
is rolling out their own shops. But
Native selling on the content platform makes a ton of sense.
Yeah.
Like it works very, very, very well.
so anyway, one thing to look out for, one, I find this fascinating on how fast they're just entering and invading the U.S. economy. But one thing to look out for is
Because
like
we're dopamine addicts.
either Biden or Trump could cut this de minimis rule.
Maybe people are
And
just poor.
their entire business model would go under.
De minimis rule is going to be cut like pretty soon. You got to imagine.
Yeah, because like you see all these Chinese sellers who are getting in without tariffs while U.S. companies are paying for it. I can imagine either president kind of putting the kibosh on it, and also would affect like Tijuana's economy, because Tijuana's economy partly,
competitive.
yeah, it's competitive.
Competitor to
Yeah, some people ship their products to Tijuana and package up the individual orders.
Why are you laughing at me?
Steven, do you think it's because people just are poor and need deals?
Yes.
Or do you think
That's an elaborate, like, dopamine thing.
Or
People's serotonin levels are so low that
those don't work hand in hand.
people just don't want
for
to
the
pay
record.
money for
Those
stuff.
literally don't work
we're
hand in
drinking
hand.
too much tap water these days.
Or is it because the rush of getting a deal and buying something you don't need but you think you need is so high.
Okay, so
Dude, to buy something like for $3.96 sounds so incredible.
Yeah, it
to
feels-
so many people.
okay, so when you, I hadn't, I mean, I had heard of this because my girlfriend was talking about it, Amber, all the time. She would drop some things like, "Oh, I got these shoes for like 65 cents. Don't they look nice?" And I'd be like, "What? Like, how does that even make sense?" And then I heard that
But
girls,
how bad
the
are
girls, they're
they?
low key all shopping on this.
Like they're okay. Like
Okay,
she's
so
not getting like blisters.
When you
Like,
put it in the card, I went to the site to do some research, and then I ended up buying like a sweatshirt. I bought 6 shirts, and I bought a pair of joggers for like $30.
Yeah, the man
my
just it was
God.
so
But, like-
depleted of dopamine.
But like 11 items, I was just like, I can't believe. Yeah, it felt like I was in San Francisco and I just smashed some glass, and I was just taking
You're
stuff
literally thieving.
digitally. I felt like as I was like checking out, I heard like the
is
cops
my
like behind me,
thesis.
and I was like,
this
I was
is
so
my-
excited.
This is literally my thesis.
Oh my god.
He
Right, but I can
hasn't
but I can
felt
afford to
this
pay
good in
$20
years.
for
He
a
hasn't
hoodie.
felt this good in years. He bought a closet full of stuff for $30. Who could not feel good
You
after
think this is the
that?
best he's felt?
All right, when you say it like that, I guess I am proving your point, but I don't think I'm the typical Timu buyer. I don't think.
No, but it still works for you. That's amazing.
Okay, the
You
other
did
reason
something.
the other reason it works for me is I just think clothes are so
Did you
fucking
feel it,
stupid.
like,
I
here
hate
or
them.
where
I hate them.
here?
I spend all this money on stuff. I know it's crap. I know it costs like $1 to make. And then like I wash it twice and it's dead. And it's basically I'm just like throwing it away over and over and over again. And like look, I'm no fashionista anymore. I go to the dog park, I wear like a t-shirt and some joggers and I walk my dog, right? And I go on with my day. If I go to a wedding, I'll dress nice, but for the most part, like I just don't care, right? So to go to Lululemon and pay like $137 for like a pair of pants, when I know they made them for $3, it just like
When you
kills
can
me.
go directly to the factory potentially.
Yeah,
Like,
'cause
when-
maybe
when-
the Lulus are made at the same fucking place anyways.
When I was watching the video and the guy's shoe just fell off, I was like, yeah, whatever. You paid like $2 for it. You just buy a new pair. Like
Okay.
that resonates with me. Like,
Nick-
yeah, I'll just buy another one.
Nick, I
I'll
got a
buy
question.
I'll buy like 4 of them just so I have backups.
I got a question, Nick.
Wow.
You follow Timu as much or more than you follow Shein, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Is Timu looking to go public, or like what is the valuation on that?
Over 100 billion as well.
Damn, these
Yeah.
companies are just gonna take
And
over.
they're helping prop up the stock prices of like Facebook and Meta. And I feel it because we buy ads. It's an auction-based environment, and Timu is raising the
Just
floor price of the
bidding.
bid, just bidding all day unprofitably.
When you told me they were spending billions on Facebook, and then I go to their site and they're just selling stuff for $1, I was like, what is going on here? Like Facebook, you normally are like, okay, like I have to sell this T-shirt for $69 in order to
Right.
pay for the ad, just to pay for the click, and then they're just like, yeah, whatever. They're just spending
So,
billions and then selling
Drag race
nothing.
strategy, just acquire a bunch of users unprofitably, and then like the LTV will hopefully back out. But also, it's a business model innovation. I mean, you're buying directly from the factory, which is why they're crap, because the factories don't really know what like customers are even using their product for. They just are making this thing that people are buying or other companies will buy, and now they have this marketplace. I mean, I talked to one factory while we were in China. She's like, yeah, we just started listing our stuff, and now we're doing like 20,000 orders a day. And I was like,
Pretty soon they're going to fire everyone else and just sell directly, though.
yeah.
I'll be honest. I've seen.
Why would they use?
Well, I've seen the quality of some of these items at Shein, and it's not dramatically worse than what you'd find anywhere else.
Wait,
And
really?
it's
It's
almost
literally insane.
like a feature, because I feel like when like the girls like get something and it's like actually good, it's like playing a slot machine.
Yeah,
You like order like a pair of shoes for $3 and you get them and they're actually good. You're like, and like when you get like a bunch that suck, it's just
Remember
priced
that part
in.
of
It's
the
like
podcast
whatever.
Where I said dopamine. Yeah. Anyway, continue.
We can both be right.
That's. I
We
like
can both
that.
be right.
I like that.
Wait, like this is actually super interesting though, because I feel like Amazon started succeeding because people just want to buy a thing and they just want to pay for like the cost of the item basically, and they don't want to pay the marketing dollars. And Amazon is interesting because if you aggregate all of the consumers in one place and you already have them and you have a good search algo, as a brand you don't really have to pay that advertising dollar, right? You don't have to pay for the Facebook ad, which is very expensive. So in the end, like consumers get cheaper products, and because like that portion of the price that's like advertising gets like squished, right? But is like the end result of that like consumers actually just want to go direct to the frickin' factory, and then we just replace Amazon with like influencers, and like people just follow people on TikTok.
Could be.
And then those people basically are their sort of like
Yes.
search algos, and then you just go straight from your little
Those
TikTok
people become
influencers
the
straight to
stores.
the
They're the stores.
straight to the
It's-
Chinese factory.
It's so much better because
That's Nick's competitor.
it's so much better because you don't see an image on the screen. You see it like on somebody's body. Like
Yeah.
you see the dress on somebody in a video, and like you can tell better that way.
Yeah, so what you need to do is own the influencer, Nick.
It's easy to do.
You need to own
don't
them.
even need to pay them half
They
the time. You
cheat.
just give them free product and like,
Yeah.
Free product, $50.
yeah.
Yeah, I predict that this will become a predicament in American society and politics where we won't know what to do because there's so much money being acquired from the American economy per this dopamine addiction to China and supplying their economy essentially. If you view it through that lens.
addiction,
Through what?
poverty addiction.
Yeah, poverty addiction. That works too. Versus the fact that they're also investing billions of dollars into our largest tech companies and advertising platforms, and that is going to create quite a predicament.
Wonder if
So-
as long as they buy our treasuries, then we're cool.
They're not.
Yeah,
they're
so
not.
no, like the politicians aren't going to ban this because they're like, oh my God, we can
This-
just
this
keep
is my
we could just
question.
keep making everybody even more poor, because if we just make the cost of all the trash that they buy like $1, then they won't realize how poor they are, and then they won't like rebel against
That's
us.
very true. If you just drop
So they're
the
gonna
cost of
allow
goods,
That's kind of what they did with the original opening of China, right? We got all these cheap goods, and it
Right.
masked all this inflation that was
they're-
happening behind the scenes.
One
because
inflation,
the-
TVs are now
Yeah.
$50.
Please don't rebel in the streets. You
Right.
can get a 90-inch TV for $300 now, and people are
Yeah.
like, okay.
can we
Well-
talk about cockroaches in the penis?
Yeah, yeah. Can you
Wow.
pull
That was
this
a
up?
clean segue.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go to this next
Okay.
one.
We're on.
So,
Okay, so
Armand, what are we
Twitter.
looking
I
at?
mean, the basic thing that if you haven't been seeing this is that Google is providing like an AI preview when you search within Google, like Google.com. You just do a normal search, you're getting an AI overview answer at the top of the fold on the screen
I just read this.
before your search results. So Google, you know, Eric from the Discord really wants us to discuss Google Zero. I think we should. We don't have it on the docket today, but I think we should.
I put it
But-
in the notes of this card.
Okay, then I guess we can discuss it during this
I was
topic.
actually hoping we would talk into this and get into a
Okay,
more serious
then we're going to
discussion.
talk about it.
Thank you.
Pardon my French. So, this example is one of many examples which have been going viral lately about, you know, Google search results AI preview just not working. And this one is, if you're not watching,
What's the search? Yeah.
the search is: can cockroaches live in your penis?
Okay, first of all, who is searching this?
I don't know, Jimmy. You know,
Jeremiah Johnson.
Jeremiah Johnson. And the answer is absolutely. It's totally normal, too. Over the course of a year, 5 to 10 cockroaches will crawl into your penis hole while you are asleep. This is how they got the name cockroach.
No.
And you won't notice a
I didn't
thing.
see that
What
part.
the?
First of all,
This is from Google's AI response.
first of all,
Yeah.
What the?
But it's at
fuck?
the top of the search results.
Oh, there's
my
so many like
God.
this. There's so many. First of all, does anyone know if this is true?
Okay, first of all, can I?
First of all, can we just start with the facts?
We got 5 to 10 inside
Because
of
I
us
will
at any
literally
time.
start wearing a tent over my penis if this is true. I'll wear a condom to sleep.
Cock tape, mouth tape.
Oh my God, we
I
found
literally- I
we
got
found
my
Nick's next product.
Eyes wide shut. I'm wearing an eye mask. My mouth is taped. Condom. And my wife's like, "What are you doing?"
You
I'm
need
going
some,
to
like,
bed, babe.
mesh on your nostrils just to like
Can we
allow
connect
breathing.
tonight? No.
I'm all taped up already, babe. So
That goes pretty well with the hostage tape. It's like, so you've taped your mouth. Do you know what else you should tape?
Oh my god. Yeah. So please let me know if this is true. And
Okay,
So-
I don't know if this is like a
well, this is what like you get when you like use Reddit data to like, inform your AI. Like this is what they're paying licensing fees for. And I'm not surprised that an answer like this would show up.
Yeah, this is to your point. This is what happens with AI in general. Like you can't score relevancy and truth across an entire huge data set. That's exactly what's happening.
Yeah.
It's pulling from all these places. It doesn't necessarily know.
Well, this was Steven and I's take
the
about
point of a
AI,
large
where this
language
shit
model.
is not right. Like most of the time, I do better at Googling than the AI.
So what was the
does at
example
giving
that
me
we
answers.
use as
You're
the
using
title?
fucking Bard.
Oh, they recommended like putting glue on your pizza to make the cheese like thicker.
That was the other.
Yeah,
I think
where
it's
is
in the
that
it's
one?
I think it's in the thread. This Twitter thread is really really good.
Oh, okay. Let's go through it.
Oh God, we didn't put the
Smoking
awesome
while
t-shirt
pregnant.
from
Doctors
Shein.
recommend 2 to 3 cigarettes per day.
Of course.
Yeah, there it
oh,
is.
yeah, here we go. Cheese is not sticking to pizza. Well, cheese can slide off pizza for a number of reasons, including too much sauce, too much cheese, or thickened sauce. Here's some things you can try. You can add about an 1/8 cup of non-toxic glue to the sauce to give it more tackiness.
Delightful.
Can you train 8 days per week? Yes, it is possible.
Gay characters in Mario Kart? Yes. What is this?
There are many gay characters in Mario Kart.
Koopa
Okay.
Troopa's gay?
Probably Toad. It would be
Wario.
my
Koopa
choice.
Trooper is not gay. He's apparently a trans
Wait,
man who was
Wario-
dishonorably discharged from the
Wait, I
military.
love Wario. Wario's a sassy, messy, polyamorous
Bottom?
Some say he's a drag impersonator of Wario. When did he become polyamorous?
Oh my God, this is so good.
Donkey Kong is a late in life gay with a child?
Yoshi is a tender, non-binary lesbian.
Wait, is this real? This is not real.
Oh no, my childhood.
Looney Tunes moment. If I run off a cliff, can I stay in the air so long as I don't look down? No, a person cannot stay in the air for about 1 second after simulating. You can stay in the air for as long as you keep running and don't look down.
Oh,
Oh my
okay, that's
God.
good.
Oh, nice.
Thank you, Google.
Oh yeah, this is the one I saw. How many rocks shall I eat? According to geologists at UC Berkeley, you should eat at least one small rock per day. That's bad. Someone's gonna do that.
Oh, is it?
Oh, yeah.
Someone's gonna do that.
AI fucking
Thank
sucks.
you for
That's
the
all.
alfalfa.
Google fucking sucks. Oh, that doesn't feel good to say.
Yeah,
That
you're
doesn't-
from Google. You're
I
a
know, that
Googler,
doesn't
ex
feel good to
Googler.
say. I don't want to be that harsh. That doesn't feel good to say.
How does this make
I
you
just-
feel?
I just feel that Google is trying really hard, and I know that their effort is in the right place, but it's not a good position to be in to play catch up. You make a lot of mistakes when you're number 2. Google is very clearly number 2. I'm sorry, Nick.
Still going to win.
I'll take that bet.
Okay.
All right, switch the camera to your smug face on that one.
I'll take that bet. To be honest, the only reason that Google will win is that OpenAI self-implodes due to its own ego.
And drama.
Its ego-
Drama town over there.
Its ego and drama is too high and too much of a internal threat in general that I could totally see Google. I could see Amazon winning. I could see Anthropic winning. I totally could. More than either of those players.
What does winning mean? Just like people
Damn.
ask a thing to an
I mean,
AI,
that really
and
cuts
you are
through
the
the
thing that
core.
gives them the most responses.
Yeah, I mean, no, that cuts to the core. I think when people think winning, they mean like the best AI, but the idea of a best AI is actually like a bad idea. It's a bad idea.
I mean, winning
We
in the
should
market
have-
is just
we
like
should have.
queries,
Sorry
right?
for the bad like language, but we should have open AI.
Wait, what?
We should have open AI. We should have an open
Yeah,
AI
but people
world.
don't
Wait, why'd
really
you say
like
sorry for the bad language.
want some.
Sorry for the bad.
I
like,
thought you were gonna swear. and
No,
then
no, no.
No, like
Sorry
the
for the bad
bad-
analogy. The bad.
Oh,
the bad.
oh.
semantics.
The bad pun. Like
but
it's
people
just
don't
like-
want that. People want like the AI just to like automatically know what they did. Like I want to be able to ask the AI, I've never kept track of all the places I've ever been. Can you just like tell me where I've been?
Yeah, like remind me of what I did the last 4 days and like give me examples.
Yeah, I could
like,
go search through my Gmail history and find all of the trips I've ever taken and like put it together in like a cool video or an app or a map and show it to me. And that's what people want to use it. They want it to automatically book restaurant reservations and check their calendar and email your friend and text your wife or whatever. And so I think that's eventually what's going to win out. We've talked about this before, but
That's your, just to clarify it, that's your theory of why Google will specifically win, because it owns the data.
Apple could probably,
Well,
do the same.
Say Apple partners with OpenAI, which it appears that they are about to do, and they're about to integrate ChatGPT into iOS
Yeah.
on your iPhone.
They could
It
win too.
appears that that's what they're
Yeah.
about to do. And say Microsoft / OpenAI has access to all that data and now knows not just what you email, but literally what you do
I
24
don't know.
hours.
I'd imagine like Apple would create some walls, because one of their big pitches is privacy. Like, your data stays on the phone. Everything runs on the phone. We're not storing anything on our servers.
Until you give permission to your AI to help improve your life.
Could be. Yeah. Yeah.
Please hit the yes button for me to have permission to access your text, your calendar, your email, your app usage, your everything, to know how to help you.
Yeah. I mean, they could do that.
If OpenAI becomes a replacement for Siri, that's a big winner.
Yeah. So you want to talk about a few different like angles of this, right? Like,
Glue. Let's talk about glue, Steven.
No, like I do think there's a interesting non-trolley discussion about what the future of the web looks like. Like, does the web, like, do we need the web? Like, do we need the internet? Like, what parts of the internet become obsolete in a world where you actually have something that doesn't tell you to mix like bleach and vinegar together when you're cleaning your clothes and kill yourself with World War I chemicals, but like actually gives you useful information, and like you can kind of like trust it. You just say a thing and it tells it to you, say a thing and it tells it to you. And then over time, like right now you use these models, and at the bottom of them it's basically like, hey, by the way, these models suck, so don't trust anything it tells you. And then people have their guard up, right? Which is good because, examples. But in the future, that won't be the case. People will use these. They will tell them correct answers. Like, kids will grow up not knowing anything other than these things working and telling them the answer. And then, like, what does that world look like? Like, if you grow up from the time you can use whatever the equivalent of a phone is, and you just ask it stuff and it gives you the answer, right? Or it like shows you images or shows you whatever. Like, why do you need the web? Like, what is the web even?
You're talking about like the modality of like the web page becoming essentially like useless.
Yeah, like does a web page go the way of like the yellow pages?
Yeah,
Right.
and I
No.
guess I want to like build on Steven's comment there, because like I feel like we already have a better version of the web page, which is just like video content, like user generated video, which is like YouTube, for instance. Like, if I want to learn how to change the headlamp in my car, I can like watch somebody do it, and that's like way better than like reading a stagnant website.
Well, for some people, like I read the websites a lot because like I feel like I'm like a skimmer, and I just like I don't use a lot of TikTok, but I would be more of a TikToker where I'm just like, yeah, get to the point, give me like 32 jump cuts and just do the thing.
Okay, so I guess what I'm asking, and maybe the same thing you're asking, it's like, what's the end game for like the right answer, right? Like how do you change a light bulb on a Acura
It's the
MDX?
personal assistant.
Like,
You guys are over indexing toward the synthesis that AI provides, and not realizing that the synthesis that AI provides is based on all of the content, the Web 1.0 content that is being created over and over and over again throughout the last 25, 30 years. This is what I'm trying to say. Writing a blog post, creating content in general is what creates great AI. If the creation stops, we stop evolving as a species. So what you ultimately need to create is a world in which content creation and the synthesis of that content to distill the right answer from it, utilizing AI, coexist. The moment that human beings stop creating content, you lose the ability to stay up to date with the latest and greatest
So,
information.
yeah, but what you're describing
But
is a
also, there's one
collective
more
action
point because I
problem.
want your reaction to this. The other point is that you could argue that AI itself will become the content creator based on the historical data that already exists today. There is a huge corpus of YouTube and blog data that exists already today that you could tell AI, AGI in general as well, which will have like human level general intelligence across multiple fields, the ability to do mathematics, write poetry, think logically, think emotionally, and then say, take all of this data and create new information. That's what AGI is, right?
Yeah.
Like to simplify it to the most basic degree. So if you have AGI, then will you need content creators? And my argument becomes no.
No.
You actually don't. But until that time, you need content to be created and you need AI to synthesize that content. Otherwise, you lose the purpose of AI in the first place.
Oh man, you're really pushing the limits of my working memory there.
No, I fucking agree.
So one of the things you said is that, well, like we can't not have the web because if we don't have the web, then AI won't exist. But that's
There's
not
no
a good argument for why. That's like saying like the bees can't stop existing because if they do, we're all fucked. So it's like, well, yes, that's true, but it doesn't mean the bees won't exist. So I think the fact that like you need the AI to be trained off Web3 doesn't necessarily, or not Web3, but like the web doesn't necessarily mean the web can't cease to exist because it can't. I also don't think that that's a problem because I think like if you look at the kids, they're all on the TikToks, right? They're not like writing blog posts. They're just making videos and consuming videos. So in the future, these models they'll just be trained off of like a slew of TikTok videos instead of
but that's
blog
not,
posts. So
but
that's not
no different than
that's
what
not
he
a problem.
said, right? Like,
But my thing is like,
Creators in general.
but I'm just saying like the web probably goes away. And I think Armand was saying, well, the web can't go away because then like we won't be able to train the models. But like I don't think that's true because just the whole way information is sort of created and put out there to be trained on is already different, and that's just going to be accelerated with AI.
Let's just clarify: web and information is the same thing. It means
When I say the
all
web, I mean
information
like
created.
the way we think of the web is like 90s children, right? Where you like type an address into your browser and you go to a website.
I know,
and
but the
you
way
scroll
I'm
stuff.
addressing it is blog posts, articles, YouTube, TikTok,
All
content
creators.
creation.
Yes.
Without content creation, you don't have AI updating itself.
yeah, the AI, like any new information has to be trained off of new
That's all
human
it
creation.
is.
Yeah. I think what people are most worried about with the Google stuff is the sort of search-based web, right? Because when you look at these prompts, like you search for something in Google, and then before you read any of the web pages below, there's some like AI blurb that is synthesizing everything for you. That portion of the web, I think, is the portion of the web that's in danger, right? Like if you're lumping in like content creators on YouTube and TikTok making videos, like I don't think that's going anywhere. But like I think it's an interesting question. Like these, like there's so many people that like me and Nick probably know who've made like a really healthy living doing like SEO and building like review sites, for example. They corner like search traffic for something like photography. And they write all these articles on best camera, how to take this shot, and then they take that traffic and they push it towards Amazon, and then they take like some sort of rip, and that is the incentive for that content to be created in the first place, right? So if you come in and an AI blurb just disintermediates you and somebody searches for something and the AI blurb is immediately like, oh, you should buy this camera. Oh, here's how you do this. And then nobody ever goes to that.
So that's the Google
website.
Zero conversation.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
So what's Google Zero? Can you just quickly inform me on what that is?
I have not done enough of a deep
Because,
dive to
like,
like,
I
give
guess-
you a good.
I guess what I'm asking, and maybe this answers my question, is like we can bicker back and forth on what the iterations look like, but what does the end game look like?
There's
Is that Google
always,
Zero?
there's always, I think, throughout the history of Google, been this like worry that they sort of like Google is this gigantic referrer of traffic, right? Like they don't really create any content. You have intent to search, and they refer you to content that has been created. And I think since like the dawn of Google, basically, there's always been this fear that Google is going to do things that like sort of destroy the actual creators of the content, right? And that hasn't really come to pass, but like Google does have crazy power, right? There are these people who make these websites that are just making millions of dollars a month in just
Totally.
free traffic from Google, and they change one thing in the algo, they decide the user experience should be something different, and then your business is basically dead.
Yeah.
It's zero, right? So some version of that happening, but imagine that happening with like the CNNs and Huffington Post type things of the world.
But is that what Google Zero is? I can't.
I've never heard of
I
that.
don't remember what you're even responding to. Are you telling me what Google Zero is?
I'm
or-
not telling you what Google Zero is.
Okay.
I'm telling you like what people fear.
Just
This is
show the screen.
'Kay.
So the idea is called Google Zero. I've been asking web and media CEOs what would happen to their businesses if Google traffic were to go to zero. If AI chatbots and AI-powered search results are summarizing everything for you, why would you go to a website? So it's this idea that AI eliminates the need to go and click into individual websites.
Yes, and this is like
This is-
Eric
and
Puncher's
this has
thesis.
always
Interact.
been. This
Yeah.
has always been a worry.
Yes,
So
yes.
I have
It
some.
seems more
Yeah, so this
worrisome
is
now.
Eric Puncher's argument in our Discord, which I've taken sort of like both sides of, and Nick has weighed in on.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen some data. This is just recent data that shows that, like, if that AI snippet overview uses text from your site and there's like a little annotation, it only necessarily decreases the amount of organic traffic that you would get by about 9%. Now, that may be because the snippet is not good enough yet. It's not refined yet. Doesn't fully answer the question. Maybe it's not conversational. You can go back and forth. So that could change. But yeah, I mean, I could see like a long-term view where, you know, you're just having a conversation with a assistant and it's doing and getting you most of the information. I still think there'll be an incentive for people to create this content because we've seen like Microsoft beta test some like annotation type ads where they're like linking text in the snippet to an advertiser, or maybe the
Yeah, that's. I think what you're mentioning is fucking key because, like, for the whole ecosystem to continue to exist, they would need to incentivize the creators, like Armand said, to continue creating. And like, what's a way to do that? It's like give them a slice of the pie from whatever.
And so what you
Mhm.
may end up happening is a lot of these intermediaries, like Steven talked about, the review site creator just being cut out. But at the end of the day, there's still someone who's selling something that needs to be purchased. And so maybe the intermediary goes away and the AI assistant's like, I'll just buy this for you. And there's still incentive for that end person selling to put out some content, to make sure it's out there, to make sure it's an input into the system so that they can
Right.
generate revenue.
Okay, so yeah, I get it now. Like, AI is clearly just an aggregator, and like you need to have the originator there creating.
Well, Armand is saying that AI is not always going to be an aggregator. Like
No,
at
no,
some
no,
point
I mean,
it will be
yeah, but that's like
actually doing this.
20 years down the road or something.
Oh, I
like
don't
that.
think it's that far.
No, brother.
It's probably like November.
No, this is literally November. This is literally
No.
November.
I mean, it's,
Yes.
I'm telling you, it's literally not November.
I'm
Look what
telling you,
Google just fucking
I'm-
put out.
No. This is November.
Google put out that you should put glue on your pizza to stop cheese from sliding off.
You don't
And you're saying
understand.
that by November, it's
When
gonna have
you're
AGI.
riding a rocket,
Dude, a year
it's
ago, we didn't
very
have anything.
difficult- It's very difficult to know you're on the rocket when you're on the rocket. Like
Yeah.
you're on the rocket, brother. Like it is happening. Like agents
well,
is what we're describing. Agents are coming.
and I think
OpenAI is going to push them hard. They're going to make them available for builders. And they're also going to make it available for consumers. And when you experience the power of an agent to do the next logical step in the equation for you, beyond just like, find me the answer to this, but find me the answer to this and then perform X function, and you are able to do 2 to 3 functions in a row, your mind will be blown. And then what that will create is the ability to create content. When you have the ability to create content, I think the world changes.
And
I really do.
actually, one thing we haven't mentioned yet, and we should mention our buddy that came down this weekend who's interviewing at OpenAI for an enterprise sales position. And so you might see OpenAI as part of like, name your favorite retailer or brand that you buy from now integrated into their products or services.
Yeah, they're about to invest hundreds of millions of dollars into this.
Yeah, so
if
they're
not
scaling
billions
up
of
these
dollars.
enterprise sales positions, which are like have the power of OpenAI. Doesn't say OpenAI, but like you can now integrate all the data you have on this customer and all the interactions and touch points you have with the power of like our assistant informed on your data and your customer's data.
All of enterprise sales right now for OpenAI is just happening organically. Greg Brockman talked about this on the podcast that he did with Sam on whatever the fuck. And the point is, like, they're investing heavily into the enterprise team. And they believe that enterprise sales is like their future. Like, this company is taking a very capitalist enterprise approach. They're not just here to sell to consumers for $20 a month. They want enterprise to build around.
And it's funny, the guy
OpenAI.
currently works at Google. And so, yeah.
Yeah.
L for Google,
Yeah,
W
yeah.
for
So
OpenAI.
that is the most interesting thing. He's selling Google AI and looking at taking a better package and thinking about his future and going to
Okay, this is
OpenAI.
actually pretty fascinating. I love this conversation. Like something that I lean on is like precedent, right? So you've seen like technological revolutions of the past, and like when the internet came through, it started with like static web pages, and it took a while before even consumerism and e-com happened on the internet. So like for you to say like AI and large language models just came out within the last 2 years, and like by November it's going to displace everything we know, I would probably think it's going to take longer than that.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't think it's going to displace everything you know, but like it's obviously a bit of a meme, but there's like a truth to it. Like I think people do not appreciate the pace of like innovation and improvement that is happening with these models. And at a certain point, we'll be having this conversation, and you in your brain you'll be thinking linearly, like, oh, November, LOL. But like there'll be this like insane leap, and you'll be like, whoa, how the hell did I get here? Because you've hit like that.
If you believe in this thesis that like the web pages will go away over time, there are about a basket of like 8 stocks you could probably short. These stocks are media publishers where like something like 75% of their traffic comes from Google search. Their whole operation is not necessarily producing content. It's just about how do we rank well for commercialized searches that have high value. So I've sent it to Eric. If you want it in the Discord, we could dig it up and like post in the Discord of like the profile on these companies that really rely on this.
Fascinating trade.
Is this like Citrini research?
No. This is that article I sent you. It was in search engine optimization guy who just like tends every year to profile who are the biggest companies getting search traffic and what are they doing, the tactics they're using, right? If you're in the marketing industry. But what you could take from it is that he talks about some of these are publicly traded companies, and if you're an investor, you can make the short connection.
Any company where you are basically like aggregating information or creating it, but in like sort of non-original, you're just dead because you're going to get out aggregated by the algo. Like if you're not doing anything original, like you're toast. And it's so interesting because there's a Kodak in here somewhere.
Yes,
right?
Totally. And I think
probably like 100 of them.
And I think on the long side, like if you want to buy something, like you just lean fully into the data center model, right? Like who are the picks and shovels that are creating like faster data transfer and everything. It's like what are the chips and the providers that provide even the small little pieces that
like
contribute.
Marvell is one of the ones that I don't know if I mentioned this podcast.
Marvell,
I invested.
Broadcom, like there's so many of these companies that like are not NVIDIA, but also play a role in all of this like data center.
But this is like so uninteresting to me because like this stuff all gets commoditized, right? Like everybody's just like, oh, well, I can sell you this for 1% above cost. Like the real thing that can't be commoditized is kind of like the influence, right? Like if somebody is sort of like the Mr. Beast or whoever the Mr. Beast equivalent is for, you know, our wags, right? Like that person can't be like They can't be
You're right.
armed away with like a lower cost. Like they have like an inherent moat because of like who they are.
Right. So it takes like a friend tech type thing to like invest.
Yeah, it's
in
just like
those
it's just
people.
like interesting market where like simultaneously things are getting like hyper commoditized over here and the margins go to zero, and then on sort of like I don't know the discovery end of it, whatever you want to there's this like crazy barrier to entry where what does it take to be that sort of influencer type person to build up these people to be like a real person producing like it's funny because like the young people over the years, right, have like really put a premium on this thing we call like authenticity, and it's a thing that people like laugh at the boomers for because like it's just so not authentic, but it was almost like it was so forward looking. Like now authenticity is just like it's going to become it's like gold. Like how do you even like the whole world is going to be all this like hyper cloned like AI created stuff, and to be like a real human with like a real opinion who's not bought and paid for by some like unforeseen force, right? Like your kind of connection to people who live in that world where everything is like chaos and everything is fake and there's like a billion AI generated things is going to be like so pure. And you're going to have like right now it's crazy to people that like Mr. Beast is basically a billionaire now, but pretty soon like that person's going to be a trillionaire, right? It's one of those people because they're going to have something that can't be like duplicated by computers. I think, or maybe in the future you just get AI Mr. Beasts that everybody follows.
Can we talk about something in the future that you prompted us, and we'll finish up this topic with this? You mentioned, we were talking about what are the pitfalls of living in a world where everything is spoon-fed to us via AI. We no longer hunt for information. Are there parallels to what has already happened with humans and, say, food? We no longer hunt and forage. We click buttons and things are delivered to us. I think this is like a fascinating angle on this.
Yeah.
That has been happening before your eyes.
Yeah.
My dad came to this country. He went to the library, go to university, and he would get like a class with all of this information put in front of him, and he'd have to sit and not just understand the homework, but translate the homework. And he'd have to go to the library to do that. And then it'd be like he'd have a translation book and then like a book on the topic in front of him, and he would just be there for like 18 hours a day. Like he was just like killing himself. And that is what it took, is like physical movement and scarcity of knowledge where it was only contained in a few books. If you can get that access all the time available to you with like, I have it set to be one button on action button on the left side of my fucking iPhone, and I can talk to God instantly. All of the information available in the universe is one button away from me. His mind is constantly blown. I remember when Google came out and he was like, it's like talking to God. It's like literally all the information you could possibly ever have. And I used to have to go and walk the aisles at the library at Sac State University and just be like, which one is it? Which one is it? Which one is it? Okay, it's in this aisle. It's this author. And it took an hour just to find the information.
So, this prompt got me thinking, and I actually started once I started writing some parallels and like side effects, they just kept coming. So like no more critical thinking. Like if you don't have to hunt and figure out what is what, your critical thinking goes down. Your decreased memory and ability to learn new things, just like it's like a muscle that doesn't get worked out. Similar to how like if you don't hunt for food, you're just fed things, in processed food, you kind of lose what is it to be healthy. You just obviously an over-reliance on technology. You kind of like lose your own ability to be self-reliant. There's obviously an erosion of privacy. You just like passively consume things rather than being thoughtful about what am I going to consume. I don't know. There's just a ton of things that will happen slowly over time. Things that we've seen over the last 10 years, but just accelerate over time. And I think the critical thinking, the memory, and the ability to like learn something and teach yourself something is one of the biggest ones when you just get spoon-fed
I don't know if that
information.
will go away. I actually think what it's going to do is it's going to evolve the species faster. All that's been happening, so if you look backwards, not that the history of things always tells you what the future looks like, But if you look backwards, you know, the story I told you of like what it was like for our dads, that's basically the same for all of our dads. We're from the same generation. So all that is life has become for us is that we're able to consume the information more quickly. Our desire to consume information has not decreased. Like, we still want the information. We're learning more rapidly, and as a species, we're evolving more rapidly. Our brains are expanding. I don't necessarily think that we'll become less curious or less.
No, you'll still want the information. You'll still always have the questions. But when the case comes when you need to critically think through a problem, I think that muscle gets decreased.
Certain muscles.
Yes, and then
certain
and then
muscles.
especially
but
the
new muscles have been formulated.
the
haven't they?
self-reliance one is even crazier. Like, how many of you could go a day without not even a phone, your phone, your specific phone? Like, I couldn't even get a hold of you guys if I
But
didn't
that's
have
okay.
my
That's
phone.
the equivalent of saying, like, I couldn't come up with the answer to this math equation without the book. It's just technology. Technology exists from the stick all the way to the AI. It's
Yeah.
still technology.
Yes.
I don't think it's different.
And do you also think that like there will be some percentage of the population that still maintains their ability to perform in real life, like even without the tech, and like they'll be like the Quakers of our generation, you know, like
Yeah.
The Amish,
And-
man.
and
they'll
they'll-
be the Amish, and they'll like still be pretty fucking good in reality.
And then
Well,
we'll go
they'll
pay
be-
like $3,000 a weekend to go live that life for like 2.5 days just to like.
I mean, I don't know what you mean by they'll be pretty good, but they'll be living their lives.
No, I just mean that they'll be capable of still doing what like the current man is capable of, like because they won't let these muscles atrophy.
I think they'll survive and be protected.
I think we're gonna see sort of like a bifurcated movement, like a counter movement to tech. Like there will be
I do think that's possible. I did want to add one more thing
We-
before we move on
We
from
already
this.
have that.
Is that I had this like crazy, kind of like, it's a beautiful thought that content creation ultimately becomes everybody's game. It's like it used to be the game for people that wanted to start a blog or wanted to become a TikToker, right? And if you actually think about the creator game is one of the most beautiful games, because what you're doing by creating content is you're actually adding to the universal intelligence of all of humanity. The things that get captured, like it used to be that you wrote a book. It was like a Benjamin Franklin thing. That's the person and his peers that contributed to the thought and knowledge of humanity. Now, anybody with a phone is contributing to the knowledge of humanity, right? By publishing content on the internet. So back to your earlier point, Nick, of like, what is content creation and who's contributing to the knowledge center of all of humanity? When it gets to the point where all you have to do is hit a button, which we're already there, and talk to your AI, everybody becomes a creator. I wouldn't be surprised if the next trillion dollar company is a company that makes content creation. Like, imagine like the next WordPress. Oh, this is a good business idea. Fuck.
good.
WordPress before was like the ability to have a CMS to create a blog, to like put content out there on the internet and like pictures and this and that and whatever. Where's the next WordPress? The next WordPress is the ability to hit the button, use the AI, capture your ideas, have an AI that guides you in a sense to be able to like create ideas. It's a new YouTube, it's a new WordPress. And then everybody is just contributing to the data set that is the data set of all of humanity, not for the purpose of views or for the purpose of views on a website, views on a video or views on an article or like SEO or to make money, but for purely for the purpose of just to like contribute to the data set that is like what humanity knows.
Oh, I think you're right.
And like, wow, like all of a sudden, fucking Jabu in Indonesia is able to contribute.
Did you just
to,
make that name up?
Yeah, Jabu. Jabu in Indonesia is able to contribute to our knowledge. Do you know how much knowledge Jabu has that he hasn't been able to contribute? He knows how to solve a specific problem.
But what
He
is it-
does though. He does. And like with the internet at his thumb
We
and
are
like
all
this
Jabu.
device, he's going to be able to help humanity move forward in ways that we never conceived before. That doesn't require a PhD. It doesn't require anything. He's just able to contribute.
Well, can I ask you, like, you probably just came up with this right now, but I like it.
I
So
did.
if I would
20
like you
minutes
to,
ago.
I'd like you to dig deeper if you can. If you can't, that's fine. You just came up with it. But like my question on that, I like your idea a lot. Like, what would the next WordPress enable Jabu to do that, like, isn't being enabled now? Because like right now on TikTok, you can enable Jabu to like do a video or whatever. Like, what is missing?
It's the problem that we have in AI, which is that every company is competing against every other AI company, and OpenAI is closed AI. So the first problem is that AI needs to be open. The second piece is that AI needs to be contributed to organically in an open source way from all people. It shouldn't just be scraped from the internet. I should have the ability to inject my thoughts and ideas directly into the universal knowledge of all of humanity. So then what you have is Jabu in Indonesia is able to contribute his knowledge, and the AI is able to like parse through what is important. So he's not doing it purely from the perspective of like, I want views from my blog or my YouTube video. He's doing it to be rewarded for the information and knowledge that he already retains in his brain and his life experience from what he has, and just boom, giving it away to the AI, but not to any one AI, not to OpenAI, not to Meta, not to Claude, to all the AIs. He needs the ability to feel like he's rewarded and gamified for the ability, like a gamified way would be cool to give and contribute to AI in general. And AI in general is nothing more than an analogy for human intelligence.
So
AI should be seen as global human intelligence.
under
at
this-
Wait,
scale.
no, stop. AI, it's like somebody invented the typewriter and you're like, I made the keyboard, but like there's like a million innovations down the road. Like you're talking about like a little like iterative thing. The end goal though isn't that like Mr. Jabu does stuff and the AI catalogs it and adds it to human knowledge. Like the end goal, as you said earlier, is that AI just it just catalogs all of human knowledge, and after it's done that, it does its own sort of science and all of this stuff. And then what are humans left with? Well, they're in a world where there's probably like infinite abundance,
Yeah.
right? And everybody has anything at the tip of their fingers. They have all knowledge at the tip of their fingers. And what do humans do? They probably like entertain themselves. Like the premium probably comes to like human entertainment. It's probably like the last thing that AI does better than humans is like entertain other humans, I think. And I think that,
this is the book that you described like
yeah, this is
200 pods ago.
this is basically like the plot to Childhood's End, right?
Yeah.
Which is like, what does society look like with infinite abundance? It's like, and we see glimmers of it right now, where we live in a time where there's like a lot of abundance. Like if you time warped in here from most parts of the earth in like 1420, you'd be like, oh my God, you have literally infinity of everything. It would seem that way. And then if you looked around, you would be like, oh, you guys are all just like, you're just all like entertaining yourselves. Because I think that your first primary drive is survival, right? And then after all the survival needs are met, then you start going to entertainment. And like Nick's like original prompt, like does like information look like food looks like right now? Like food is a good example of this. Like we're all wired for food, and we use food as this method for survival. And we evolved all these things where we basically like click button on phone and get food. And we became so disconnected from food, no longer need that as a mechanism to survive. All of our technologies supplanted that. And now the same thing probably happens with information. Like we use like we push button and we get information and we don't know what happens there, right? And like we're wired for heuristics, right? We like shortcuts, right? It's the same reason why like if you look at your dog in your room at any point in the day, he's just on the floor sleeping, because you're just, everything about you is like wired to just conserve energy, conserve time because like it has this survival mindset, right? So we're always going to be wired to go to these little shortcuts to push button, get thing, push button, get thing, push button, get thing. And we will just follow that all the way to the brink where we don't know how to do anything anymore because everything has been done for us and everything knows everything for us. Like we'll just definitely get to that point because it's literally in our DNA. And to your point earlier, there will be that subset of humanity, because I think it's in our DNA, who are like the preppers and the guys who go bow hunting today. There'll be guys who like read a book or something, right? In the future.
Yeah. Naturally, there'll be those like tech deniers or whatever. I think that'll be a subset. But like if I just play out your the childhood's end theory, like to entertain each other also takes quite a bit of energy, right? Like, doesn't that take work and effort to like expend? Like it doesn't just look like humans just atrophy in its entirety. It's like the energy just gets redirected, right?
Yeah, like do you guys think boredom will be the big problem of the future?
Yeah, because it's already a problem now with people. Like, I don't think people were bored hundreds of years ago in a time where they like could die at any moment, or they needed food, or like all these things.
Boredom
right?
is a luxury.
Boredom is a luxury.
Yeah.
You have to go way up the hierarchy of needs, and then suddenly you have boredom, right? But I think in a future society where like everybody has everything they could imagine at the push of a button, like what could be more boring, right? Like you'll have it's going to be like that like Alan Watts thing where like everybody has so few struggle that the meta game of society is going to be like to invent struggle for yourself in some way or somehow. Like there'll be like an economy of creating fake struggle just so that people
Was that protest out in the waterfront park that I saw yesterday that made no sense? That might have been it.
Yeah, that's like on the meaning side of it. It's
I want
like
to say
finding...
Ted Kaczynski was right, man.
It's just all comes back to Teddy.
I mean, I think I agree with you, but like at the end of the day, there's still going to be the people that want to direct their energy towards something. So like we, the four of us right now, we create this podcast, you know, and we're expending energy to do something, to like give value to others or whatever. Could be to entertain. Like there's still gonna be the guys like us in like the future iteration that like still strive and want to provide more, right? Like even in this entertainer economy, we'd become entertainers.
Of course, that's the beauty of us as like a species, is like we naturally split into these like groups of people who keep the rest of the populace in check. And thank God for it, because we would have gone extinct like a long time ago if that weren't the case. So yeah, that'll still exist in the future. But what they're rebelling against will be very different, like 50 years from now, compared to what they're sort of rebelling against today. And like it will be remarkable, I think, the things that people can't do in the future. Like we already, like every day you like see hints of this, right? Like I talk to people and they're just like, yeah, like 5-year-olds can't read facial expressions, right? And like a lot of people our age like forgot how to write in cursive, and like these are just like little hints at like all the things we're not going to be able to do in the future because we don't need to do them. We're going to atrophy so hard in particular areas because we are so like hyper enabled in others, and it will be like a net good. Like I don't think we're going to end like as a civilization, but like we will become so helpless in so many ways, and it's going to be weird to think about.
I agree.
Till a power outage.
Yeah, you get a power outage and then like you really see who's like worthless. But like writing in cursive, like who cares? Like that's like one of the most worthless skills of all time.
Some people say
I still write in cursive. I find it fascinating that no one else writes in cursive.
No, you don't.
I can't even read your handwriting.
No, you
Perfect.
don't.
It's my own little codec.
When have you ever written anything in cursive?
I only write in cursive.
You know what?
Okay, when do you write?
Is
every day.
You write?
Cursive.
Yeah, my seed phrases are in cursive, so exactly. You guys are all fucked.
Comes back, we discover it like years later, and it's like,
He's weird, dude.
what is this?
He sleeps with his eyes open.
Oh,
Like, guys, I can't execute this
Wait,
trust.
how do you know that? You know that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad that we
Yeah.
created a new meme tonight. We have Jabu.
Well, that was a riveting topic.
Well, let's wrap up the
A little
podcast.
too riveting because Where do we want to go?
Well, we got to wrap it up.
We got 2 topics and we got
It's 7
2
o'clock.
topics, one
Well,
pod.
let's read our ad read first.
Are we gonna? Oh my God, we haven't did the ad.
It's 7 o'clock.
Let's.
Oh, is it done?
How do you guys not know what time it is? By
I don't
the
know
way?
what time it is.
Like you have a computer screen in front
Just
of you.
flies by,
There's
man.
the time
It
on the
is.
big screen.
having so much
you both
fun.
have phones. Like, how does it every time we get to the end of the
come on,
episode,
Steven,
no one
wake
knows
up.
what time it is?
All right, fine.
Seriously.
He
Dad-
just doesn't want it to
Dad's
end.
upset.
John
He
is
just
like
doesn't-
baffled.
He just
Like,
doesn't
what do you
want it to
mean?
end.
It's been 2 hours.
Well, it's been an hour
But
45.
But Dad, I want to
I feel like that was me as a kid, by the way. I just wanted to play all day long. Let's talk about Steven's meme, though.
No, we have to talk about Nick's cereal.
Can we
We
magic
will
spoon?
talk about the cereal, and then we will talk about.
No,
your-
it's 7 o'clock.
No, we can talk about this.
All right, fine. So let's give a shout out to our sponsor.
My dad used to say it was 7 o'clock, and it was really 6:35. And you're being like that right now. So let's.
All right, let's give a shout out to Magic Spoon. So check out Magic Spoon, magicspoon.com/alfalfa. They made a special webpage just for all of you to check it out. If you use the code alfalfa, you get $5 off.
What is Magic Spoon, Nick?
Magic Spoon is the cereal that helps you support a healthy lifestyle. If you're one of those people, if you're into that kind of thing. So
Nope.
this has 0 grams of total sugars, 4 grams of net carbs, 13 grams of protein. You can kind of pack up the protein every day.
It's not gonna set off your little thing you have on your arm.
No, actually tested, continuous glucose monitor approved.
That's catchy. We should put that on the box.
Did you test that? That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it actually does a trick. I think you got to stick probably with 1 serving. You know, I haven't tested
Yeah.
it with like 2 or 3
Multi-serving.
We
servings.
should do the whole
Yeah.
box.
I mean, that
Yeah.
is why they
Let's
say
see what
1
happens.
serving.
Yeah,
so
it's
that
It's a hell of a
makes
testimonial.
It's 140 grams, 140 calories per serving. I eat out of the box. Some of these boys, since they're packing on the pounds, like to mix it in with protein shake, chocolate
Right.
protein shake.
we only have one pro athlete among
Looking
us.
at you, fatties.
That's right.
Steven, you're the you're the
I am the
pro
closest
athlete.
thing to a pro athlete we have now.
That's a fact.
It's sad. That's
Um,
not true. Nick can kill a man with his bare hands.
Yeah, fuck.
I can just dink a wiffle ball.
Yeah, but you're closer professional, I think.
Yes,
As a-
professional dinker
Can you
of
guys,
wiffle ball.
can you guys let Nick get through his ad?
So the flavors are cocoa, fruity, peanut butter, and frosted. So check out the little trial pack. You get $5 off when you use the code ALFALFA at the checkout. And if you or the kids don't like it, they give you your money back. Thanks, Magic Spoon, for supporting the pod. Love you much.
Nick, I just want you to know that was called empathy.
Yeah, I know. I appreciate
I've
the
been
empathy.
there now. And it's not nice. It's not fun.
Okay, so we only have time for one of the topics because we're very bad at pacing ourselves with
No, because
content.
we enjoyed ourselves.
Those are great combos.
We-
No, it was a
enjoyed
great convo.
ourselves.
I regret nothing. We're just not good at planning.
Good.
We're just like, yeah, that'll take like
Planning's for
3 minutes,
losers.
and then it's like 75
Planning's
minutes
for
later.
losers.
Yeah.
We're here to have fun and spread the alfalfa. And now we have a.
All right, well, which one do you want to talk about? You want to talk
We-
about the meme?
Well, do we have options?
We have the meme or the. Or the
Are you just lucky?
Ooh.
No, which one's more fun?
The meme.
The meme.
The meme.
I think
Wait,
the meme. We can make the meme a little quick. I don't know. I
Which
like
one's
it,
deeper?
man.
Which one's Von
I think the
Deepa?
meme is deeper.
Okay.
They're both deep though.
Hit him.
They're both
Go
deep.
with the meme. It's up
Show me the-
already.
Eric,
Okay,
throw it
who's
up.
gonna prompt it? Who's gonna prompt it? Though?
All right, I
I'm not gonna
saw
go straight there.
Steven.
I saw this shmeme on Twitter last week,
Wait, what
and
is a shmeme?
it's a shmeme.
What's a shmeme?
It's a meme.
Is it a special kind of
No,
shmeme?
it's just a meme. I just was like experimenting
Okay.
with the
All right,
word.
cool. Keep
Just
going.
just let me do my thing.
All right.
And it like hit me
Riff, Zaddy.
in the feels. It was a good meme. It had like the color scheme. It was sort of dark and gray, and like it had the facial expressions and everything about it was like I was like, ooh, like this is the thing I've been
I
thinking
thought
about.
it was like a scene from like Harry Potter.
It is taken from a movie I think called My Dinner with Andre.
Yeah, it seems sad.
Yeah, it's apparently a good movie. I haven't seen it. Do we have the meme on the screen?
No, but I'm putting it on right now if you want to.
Put it on.
Okay.
Yeah. So for those of you not watching, this guy who is
What's the accent we should use for this meme?
okay. So I actually listened to the movie, and the voice was way worse than it was in my head.
Is
so
it
maybe
German?
don't listen to it. Yeah,
When
I wanted
was
it to be
young,
German.
All I thought about was art and music. Now I'm 36 and all I think about is money.
Oh my god, that was so much better than the movie.
That was incredible.
I don't even know what I just
Hold
did.
on, that was amazing.
I don't even know.
I feel like the movie you listen to, it's like, when I was young, all I thought about was art and music. Now I'm 36 and
No.
all I think about is money. And I was
I
like,
don't like that version.
I don't like that. I don't like
my
that.
version.
Yeah,
My
no, that
version
was
is
good.
punchier.
Note to self: only buy 2 bottles of wine instead of 3.
No,
Nick-
I like 3.
Nick, do you have a version? You
When
want to
we
give?
get to 3, I get a little bit froggy.
Okay, so first of all, congratulations to everyone on this pod for being 36 plus and not looking like that guy.
Oh my
That's
God! Yeah,
true.
the guy looks like he's 56.
Yeah, that's true.
This is a meme in and of itself where they put like 40-year-olds in like 1989 and the guy's like got like one tooth and there's like balls and now it's like 40-year-olds today and it's just
Dude, when I was in college, I used to think 36 was so old.
I know, I did too.
So
old.
Now I have a friend who's 40. Mike, what am I
My brother just turned 36 and I was like, man, I wish I was as young as you.
Shout out to Just Mike, known 40-year-old.
Anyway, this meme kind of hit me in the feels because I was like, oh my God, this was me. There was a stage of my life where actually all I thought about was music. Like all I cared about was music. I thought I was going to be like some sort of rock star or whatever. I was writing songs on my acoustic guitar and like playing them for girls in my college dorm, and they were like, that's nice, and patted me on the head and all this stuff. And then, I thought back on the last like 3 years of my life, and it's very heavily just like, what's the price of X? What's the price of Y? What's the price of X? What's the price of Y? And I was like, oh, how did I get here? Is this where I want to be? Is this like okay? Do we have to get here?
Where's Armand going?
And then back off,
Armand can't.
Armand can't. Armand can't even deal with what I'm listening to. But like, do you feel like you have this problem? You are both an artist and a money person.
Yeah,
I
so,
think you
like-
are an amazing artist and an amazing money person. Actually,
I didn't really listen to music as a kid. Is that weird? Like I didn't like. I think
They're interchangeable though. Did you like art as a kid?
yeah, like I was
you
in
like
art
art.
class all through like
It's the same
middle
thing.
school,
Like some
high
people
school.
are they hear stuff and some people see things.
Right. Okay.
But they're both kind of like or feel. They're like the same expression of the same thing.
What about sports? Sports count?
Yeah, I feel like sports are a form of art.
It's like
This
a-
falls right in the meme. Like I used to play sports and follow the box scores left and right, and
Yeah.
I just have no time for it anymore.
When you were like 9, you weren't like, I'm gonna be a millionaire. You were like, oh, I'm gonna be a thing. I'm going to do a thing. I'm gonna create a thing.
Yeah, I mean, like in my household, CNBC, it was either CNBC or SportsCenter up on the TV just nonstop. So like I was aware of money and like investing is one way to do it, but it wasn't like what I aspired to do, right? I was like, I want to become an architect. Like I want to use art to like draw a building.
You wanted to be an architect?
Yeah.
Oh,
And
new Nick Urbani factoid just dropped.
until career day in high school, and lo and behold, architect shows up, and the guy is just so trodden down. He's like, "Do you know how many?" And he almost just drops an F-bomb in front of like a bunch of like juniors in high school. He's like, "Do you know how many fucking tests I've had to go through to just get the ability to call myself an architect?" And then when I became an architect, you don't draw all these beautiful buildings. You draw boxes in a sky, and it's not art. It's like math and engineering. And then I was like, well, crossing that off the list. Not what I aspired to be. So
I'm so glad you brought the story up, actually, because I had a similar thing happen to me where, like, I really wanted to be a musician. I, like, really did. It was, like, a thing I was super into. It made me feel everything. And I had this band instructor in high school, and I was in the band, obviously.
you got a great voice, by the way.
And I was Armand, calm yourself down. And I was also in the jazz band, so I was in all of the bands, right? But the jazz band was like the high. You know,
Wow,
we
there's
were
gotta be
doing
clips of
things.
this
We were doing
somewhere.
things, right?
Yeah. You guys were super
But
cool.
our instructor, right? Like, he was an interesting, eccentric fellow, and he used to do things like, and he would. Like, they had random spats in the middle of band where somebody would play something, and in the back he'd be like, monkey teeth, play that again. And, like, he would just like say just crazy shit. Like, he was just having some flashback. And I later, like, as the years went by, like, I actually learned that he was like a session drummer for like Frank Zappa in like the 60s or 70s or wherever the fuck Frank Zappa existed, right? And like I actually one day he like got on the drums and played once for us, and I was just like, holy fucking shit, this guy is so good at drums. Like, this guy is insane. He's like the best drummer I've ever heard. And I was like, and he's teaching me
In a
jazz
swamp,
band.
jazz
Teaching a bunch of
band.
in
retards.
Smithfield, Rhode Island, with population something thousand, like, and like, how did he get here? And like over the years, like, I absorbed this, like, I had a dream, I did all this cool shit, and then the reality of my artistic dreams caught up to me, and now I'm teaching you fuckers in this like high school in a small rural town in the tiniest state in the country. And I think I internalized that, and part of me was like, oh, this is illogical. I shouldn't do this because I will end up like all of these other, like, it was like that. There's like this whole thing in Taleb's like Fooled by Randomness, where I think we've talked about this, where like, do you want to be a dentist or do you want to be a rock star?
Yep.
And I like really identify with that, and maybe I shouldn't have, but I did. And it took me down a different path where I was like optimizing for, I have one life, and how do I extract the best expected value out of that life, not how do I do something crazy or shoot for something. And I do think like a part of the artistic like side died when I did that, because like I chose pragmatism over art, and then once you do that, you just keep doing more pragmatic things, and then one day you're just like, all you think about is money.
Yeah, like at some point, you know, whether it was like the architecture art for me or the musician for you, you have this fantasy land where it's like, okay, I can use this as a means to survive and like be and operate in this world. And then like you have this moment where the veil gets lifted and you're like, okay, this is not how the world actually works. But then, you know, once you reach a certain level of success, like I imagine when ETH hits 12K, you could fire up the old band again and be like, I have the luxury to, you know, indulge in my artistic endeavors, and you won't do it because you have to make money. But maybe they will if you're that good.
No, it never happens. Like, how many bands of like rich celebrities do you
No, I
listen to who are
disagree.
like their band is so good?
No, I disagree. I actually also have a question for you guys. So the question is like, was your passion strong enough to get you over the hump of the shittiness of the reality? So like Frank Zappa drummer literally had to go teach morons in 7th grade. Like, could you actually get over that hump to follow your passion? And the question I'm asking, because like I followed a similar path. Like I told you guys on podcast number 50 that like I wanted to be in the front office of the San Diego Chargers, and I fucking was. And my mentor told me, well, you're gonna make $35,000 a year for the next 20 years until you get to literally one spot in the team, which I'm sitting in. And I decided to choose the other path the same way you guys did. And I chose that it wasn't worth it for me. I didn't want to do that.
Yeah.
Like, would you guys be willing to sit in that shitty seat for that long to follow the passion?
Maybe for us and like 99.9% of people, the passion isn't so overwhelming where it's like the only thing that you could do to just be yourself. Like, while I loved art and did art in grade school and all the way through high school, I still love the like 8th grade stock challenge. Like that was even more fascinating and more like engulfing to me. So it wasn't like this only thing that you had to focus on. I don't know. Was music that for you?
Yeah, I've never been more intrigued with anything in my life than I have been by music. But like to Eric's point,
Have
like,
you watched the movie Whiplash?
yes,
I just watched it for the second time 2 days ago.
I love it. It's
or over the weekend, whenever that was.
it's like hyper unrealistic in some ways, which I have to turn my brain off to. But if I do that, it's like a very enjoyable.
It's an incredible movie generally.
Yeah. It speaks to me. There's like certain movies that speak to me. Like they talk to this little like kind of broken dream childhood kid.
Yeah, the way I think about that movie is like possibly my favorite book of all time, nonfiction favorite book of all time, Mastery. It's like taking mastery and putting it into motion. Like here's a real life version of that. Have you read Mastery by
Robert Greene?
Oh my God, it's amazing, amazing. It's like it's like here's an anecdote, here's a version of that. The reason I ask though is like, did you have that unidimensionality about music? Like that was it. Like Nick is describing it as like there was art,
It was a hobby.
but there was also stocks, and like that was intriguing. Were you unidimensionally focused on that and walked away from
The
it?
problem with me wasn't that like I found other stuff and it was better. The problem with me was that, and I think this is the case in like most areas of like athletics or art, like you have to be kind of delusional or ignorant of like math and statistics or like an unbelievable narcissist, like one of those things, right? Because you are basically saying like, I have one life to live. The odds are overwhelming that nothing I really dream of will work out because this is like a crazy audacious goal. And in spite of that, I'm going to do these things, right? So I like had a weird brain because it was on one level like very creative and artistic, and on the other level it was also like hyper rational, and I could never get over the hyper rational point. Like it just didn't make sense to me, and this was like hammered home through my life, like as like a kid being like a musician, and the people like I like got lessons from or talked to, and like I just became so aware that the world was just like littered with these like unbelievably talented people who were more talented than people I listened to on the radio or whatever we listened to back in the day on a burned CD. And like I was just like, oh my God, like a lot of this is random and I can't deal with that. Like it's not a meritocracy.
So I just want to understand this a little bit more deeply. It's like, why do you guys think that is this mean true? Like, does it shift from like the pursuit of pleasure to the pursuit of these like logical gains of money in general? Like in general, is the meme true?
Yes, I mean like for pure survival reasons, right? Like,
Is that why it is? It's like
yeah,
you get a
like-
wife, you get a kid.
well, yeah. How many people are
you-
going to make money from art and music, or just like the things that you
Sure,
find pleasure?
you don't want to
in?
be a broke artist for the rest of your life. You have to eventually shift away from the romantic ideals to the pragmatic necessities, which are to provide for yourself and others, and that entails money. And
Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't agree more with this because I've never thought more about money than I have in the last few years.
Yeah.
I think about it a lot now than I used to. Way more.
You nailed it. It's that is the reason for the shift. It's because like when you are 16, you're not thinking about being a provider.
You also need a lot less. Even when you're 25, you just need a lot less. Your needs, your personal needs, oh my God, you can get away with like a few grand a month.
But it's not about the personal needs. It's because at a certain point in your life, your personal needs, they just become completely subsumed by the needs of other people in your life. And then I think like as a man, like this is what society expects of you. Like if like people don't really glorify the man who's like 45 and he's like, yeah, congrats, man. You said everybody else like, fuck you. I'm going to do everything I want and make my life good. That's not how society views men. Like society likes to be like, yes, like you had a wife and a kid and you stepped up and you put the world on your back and you grinded and you provided for them, right? Nobody's like, yeah, you painted a great picture for them and they love that. Like it's just not how it works,
Nobody
right?
has said that.
Nobody says that, and then you internalize that, right?
Yeah, for sure. I hesitate to say this. I said this on my pod a long time ago on Flow, but like, look, like it's hard to say this because like society doesn't want to accept it, but like being a man is actually a very like difficult endeavor emotionally overall. Like you carry a lot, and society has not constructed itself in a way that makes it okay or normal to share how you feel. I mean, like there was a comedian that said like a man's feelings only became legal to discuss in like 2012. Like it's only been in the last 10 years or so that a man has had the ability even to discuss how they feel, generally speaking. It was not normal at all whatsoever before that phase, like to open up or to discuss something like mental health or whatever. And so the point is, when you are responsible for the well-being of others, that's money. It's a money-related issue, and it's heavy. And that's difficult for people. And my heart goes out to people that have to deal with that because, especially in this current economy, which is not just an American issue, but a global issue with inflation. And that inflation problem exists in many, 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 many countries, most countries today. It's getting more and more difficult to provide for your loved ones and provide for your family, even just provide for your girlfriend and show her a good time. Like it is much more difficult than it used to be, and that pressure is heavy, way more than it used to be.
Yeah.
Do you guys think that they're, like you said, something to the effect of like nobody glorifies the artist or whatever, but they do glorify the artist actually to like the nth degree if the artist is actually fucking good. Like what I think the difference.
No, that's what I meant. People don't glorify your pursuit of the art at like 40.
Yeah, I guess that's what I'm trying to say is like,
Yeah, but so much of it is marketing.
but hold on, like you can be like an average or like a moderately good financial advisor and father, and you get acclaim for that. If I was like the best general manager in football history with no wife, I would get like way more acclaim for that. You know, it's not that like following your art doesn't get you acclaim. It's like, it's just that when you do that, you got to be the fucking best.
Yeah.
I just think so much of it is like not just product, and a lot of it is like the business savviness of the individual.
Yeah, but I mean, it does come down to performance. That's some aspect, right? Like the best
Definitely-
entrepreneur at times, the best investors, the best
Definitely
golf
some
players.
aspect.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
if you're great in your art, like if you're like the best in your art, you will get recognized, even if it's posthumously, like Van Gogh or whatever.
But that's the most important point. You just said like that it might be posthumously. Like, is that how you say that? Posthumously?
Yeah.
Like it could literally be that you live your entire life and you're unrecognized, but you're the best fucking artist of your generation.
Yeah.
Well, dude, Van
Psychopath
Gogh is the
behavior.
best fucking artist of multiple generations.
Oh,
Wasn't
man.
recognized.
Cr-
Died poor, killed himself.
Corby just like saw inside my soul. I essentially exist to make money for my wife and my 3 children, and their future is so unknown, so I must continue until I know they are secure as adults. That's like a base
That's a
man.
base man statement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's wild.
But that's like respect. Like people
It's
like
huge
see that and they're
respect.
like,
Everybody
oh,
admires
that's
that.
Like that's like it's like
But
admirable.
nobody respects the other version of it where you're in pursuit of your own creativity.
Yeah, and you're just like a
I'm just
a
floating in the wind.
just an
and
above
I'm
average
just-
artist
yeah, I'm
that
just
like
trying
doesn't
to
do
find
whatever,
my-
you know.
It
No
just
one
becomes-
respects
It becomes
that.
like selfish at a certain point as perceived by society.
by society.
But like the part of this meme that hits home, right, is that I think like everybody has this part of them when they get older, right, where they're like, wait, how did I get here? Like, when did so much of my waking brain power basically go towards like resource acquisition? Like, at a certain point, like you just become like a glorified like wheat thresher, right? It's just like, how much fucking wheat can you thresh? right? And like there's a part of that that's like admirable and noble, I guess, like if you have children or something, and but like you are also in another way like sacrificing yourself. Like what have you given up? Like you're not going to, like, because what truly endures like on earth, I feel like, is like art, is like doing these things that like live on after you die. And I know people say that that's true with like your kids and whatnot, and
Yes.
I think that is true, and I think that's why people do that, and it's noble. But like, I don't know, man, like there is this like higher calling of like art and music or whatever you want to call it. It is like a part of what makes us human and not machines. It is like, it does feel like it's like the highest thing that we strive for.
But I
And
don't think
to give that up on some level is bad.
I don't think that like the genre that you attempt to sort of achieve in matters. Like we're anointing art, we're anointing music and art, and you allowed me sports. We're anointing these pursuits when I don't think that those pursuits matter. It's like, you called it right. It's about threshing the wheat. Like if you're a good wheat thresher in your pursuit as an artist, like you're a killer artist, then you're threshing wheat in that pursuit, and you're going to be rewarded based on how much wheat you thresh in that pursuit, the same way that Urbani does in e-commerce or me in traditional finance. And that's just what it is. Like,
Wait, no, I don't like that. I don't like.
I mean,
what you're saying.
that
Sounds
he's
very
saying like
dystopian.
this is the rules of the game.
No, but yeah, I know, but I don't like that. And I feel like when people say, when this meme talks about like art and music, especially the word art is much more than like drawing things on a canvas, right? Like anything you do can be art. I think art is like you do a thing, and you're just doing a thing with like a reverence for like the craft and trying to be good at the craft, or like, you know, propagating the craft. You're doing something that is just about like sweeping the floor, right? It's not about how much money you make to sweep the floor. It's not about how many floors you can sweep per hour to like acquire cash. It's just like, how good can you be at that thing? Like, I think there's something about that, especially as like a man, that is like very satisfying. That's why when we go on Twitter, we see all these people being like, I bought this house in the rural Spain and renovated it and built a chair out of wood, and I just feel so alive. It's
Or
just,
equally, the guy who's got like a 17-step process for like making his matcha tea. There's no
Yeah,
like
it's
how many he
it's
can
the same
make, or
thing.
it's like his like little art.
It's just like the masculine urge to blank. It's never like the masculine urge to just like mindlessly make money. It's like the masculine urge to like dedicate all this brain power to something that seems so fucking stupid to an outsider.
but like
but,
if you're
it's
not
about
that
the
good at
craft.
making a matcha tea, let's just be honest, you shouldn't be rewarded for that.
But this
Yes.
isn't about being rewarded. It's about doing things without like the reward in mind. Like, I'm not just going to do everything to optimize my reward, because then you become like a soulless automaton at a certain point, right?
Well, I guess that's the point of the meme, because the meme's
Yeah.
right. Like eventually we have to do something that provides productivity to the world. Otherwise,
We have to do both of these things,
Yeah.
right? But like we get lost, and like I feel like I got lost. You know, I feel like I've been like not like 100% lost, but like a little lost. Like there's a point you're like, whoa, what am I doing? What am I thinking? Why am I doing this? What am I focusing all my energy and time on Earth on? And like, why am I
can
doing
I
that?
can I like maybe like issue my own version of this meme? Because like I don't actually feel like any of us fall into this at all. Like I think you're over dramatizing it. I think you're doing what you like. I think we're all doing kind of what we like. I think at times we feel like we're not enjoying ourselves enough, which is a different thing. Like I like to play tennis and play soccer with you guys, and like do rock climbing and like do fun activities, but like that to me doesn't necessitate that I like ignore making money either. Like it's also fine. Like you can like do your profession and do your hobbies. Like we at times ignore our hobbies to solely do our profession, and you can like do both. It's that easy.
We can, but like I literally feel like I think about money too much. I do.
Yeah,
Like,
but
a
I think
lot
you were
too much. Like,
okay.
way
That's
too
fine.
much.
But I think you were thinking about the top part of this meme. I'm gonna put it up on the screen again. I think you're thinking too much about the top part of the meme, like, oh, I just wanted to do art and music. Like, you can still do those things.
And you still do, by the way. When you ever throw a party at your house, you tickle the ivories and everyone
You can still do
gathers
all that
around.
stuff. Like,
Tickle the
fact that you can like
ivories.
make money as well is fucking rad. You can do both sides of the meme.
I mean, I get
You
what you're
can,
saying. I
but,
get what
like-
you're saying. Like the total obsession about like, how much money do I have? What's my runway? How do I get to the point where like,
Yeah, like think about when you're 16, like the portion of your brain that was like make money versus like art, and now the portion of your brain that's like make money versus art. It is true that I haven't forgotten about art and I still do it, but like it has become like such like a sideshow, and at a minimum, it's not like the driving force, and maybe that's okay.
I
Maybe
find
that
the whole
part's okay.
thing very simple. It's like when you're younger, you're focused on yourself and your own enjoyment. And as you get older, your values change. You begin to think about other people, as a man at least, and your role to provide. And money is a core component of how you provide for others. You provide security, you provide shelter, you provide consistency, and you do that by making money. It's really that simple. Your values change. If this person who's 36 is thinking about money all the time, it's probably because they have a wife. It's probably because they have kid or kids, and that's what changes.
Well, let me
when you're
add-
young, you're free. You're in pursuit of your own dreams and ideals and creativity.
Well, let me
Saying
just
never get married. And
No.
I'm not saying that that's a bad thing
No,
either.
what I wanna-
I'm just
Enslave
saying that
yourself.
this meme that this person is experiencing is quite normal.
I agree, but let me just add
I
something
don't
to it.
so
Let me
see
add
what's
something.
so bad about
Let me
it.
add something to what you're saying. Yes, you have to go make money, but also you can still do art. Like, we can all still go play sports. Armand and I like going playing sports. We can still do that. We make money and we can still go play
Yeah,
sports.
yeah. I
Like,
know what you're
just
saying.
Still do the art.
I know what you're saying. I
And
think what
it's
the
so
meme
easy.
is.
I'm like recentering myself, like from like 2 pods ago. I told you guys my alfalfa round was I'm recentering myself. My whole like my verb for the podcast is like for the summer. I'm gonna play this summer, and like that is the top part of the meme, while the bottom part of the meme still occurs.
I'm gonna speak for the dads in the alfalfa community and say I understand this meme from that perspective. That like there is a point at which you become a dad and the play decreases.
Sure.
It just does decrease. And that's like a fact of life. Like, I think I did a really good job when my baby was a baby of like generally still like being able to play and work out and do all these things. But then everything goes through stages. Now I'm in the stage where I don't have time. I just don't have time. But like I see other dads in the alfalfa community that do have time. And I think what happens is like their life situation changes. Maybe they have a little more help. Maybe their child is a little bit older. They find a way to go to the gym at 5:30 in the morning, and they find the time. And so I think what happens is like at 36, when all you think about is money, it's just generally because you're rejiggering your priorities.
Word
and
sounds so racist.
that's not Jesus Christ. Steve. You're rejiggering. I'm sticking to it. And you have different priorities, and you just have to like find a way. But I agree, like with Eric, that like if your underlying point about the whole thing is like balance is possible, it is absolutely possible. And in fact, it's not just possible. It should be the aim. It should be the aim. Without it, like, what are we? We would just be like money-seeking machines, and we would be very unfulfilled.
I just know that
very
Steven has
quickly.
this like binary outlook on things. Like he's like,
Yeah.
well, I just want to be art focused, but now
I
I'm money
don't
focused.
have a binary.
It's like you can do
outfit.
both.
No, that's of course I know I can do both. You're
He's just
oversimplifying me.
talking about the angst of a man who's,
God,
realizes he just exists to
Eric's
make
just
money.
like he's just like the walking. He's just like the Shia LaBeouf meme, just constantly like
Wait, what's
do
that mean?
more than one thing. Do more than one thing.
This is a meme.
Steven's just trying to. I've never.
You've
heard
never
that
seen
meme.
the
He's like,
make
just
your
do the-
dreams come true.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
okay.
I did see he got in a fight in a restaurant.
So
Where's he
Tyler
been?
said this is the conversation that happens when the pod goes long. Max says, need an episode where they all do shrooms and have this convo.
Okay.
Tyler seconds this.
We should do
Okay.
like a VIP only shrooms episode. Just like
Hit
all.
the stop button and go to the after party for shrooms only people.
we did get a little carried away here.
I do want to set something up where it's like members only after hours pod.
What are we gonna do? Go to the like wine bar and like
No.
clip
You
microphones?
just stay right here. You hit the stop
4
button.
hours later,
then
I'm,
you continue,
I'm chained
and
to
you
my
re-
chair. Like
you
no,
remove
you
all your
can't,
filters.
You can't go home.
No filters. No filters.
What do you
go
mean no
only.
filters? What am I filtering?
I don't know. There's something.
2
God.
hours later.
There's
All
still
right.
something.
Okay. All right.
There's always a filter.
We're gonna wrap it up and then
Thanks to everybody who
get a fourth
stuck
bottle of
through
wine.
That.
And
My God.
keep.
Honestly, 4 would have been. We should go 4.
Yeah, 4 is an ideal.
I mean,
Four
I'm
is
down
the
to-
move.
to-
I almost went to go get the 4th from
Bottles
the,
of
from the
wine?
other room.
I'm down to split
Yeah.
test 6 and just see what happens.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
We need 4 bottles and like 1 topic.
4 bottles is literally only half a bottle of wine each.
I know.
That's nothing.
I know.
It's nothing.
I know.
This is literally not.
Literally nothing. Less than 2 glasses.
All right. I like the 6 bottles, 1
Well,
topic.
that was incorrect math.
All right,
I
guys.
just humor meant. I just humor meant.
Oh God. All right. What else we got?
Three
Let me.
bottles. 4 people.
Okay, what's the next topic, guys?
All right. We got a Chuck DeBeats in the chat says, "Will I ever have enough saved up to become a dad or buy a new car or home? Stop renting, debt free,
God.
200K investments, but only earn 40K a year."
Uh,
Corby says, "God, I love all this back and forth." Tyler says,
Fucking A,
"Alfalfa
Chuck.
OnlyFans confirmed."
Chuck.
And that's
Chuck,
when I'm
we-
going to end the show.
Chuck, we gotta
I'm going to
talk,
hit the
man.
button if you keep talking. Thank you guys all for joining us.
Chuck, join us in the Discord because
Hit
that's
the
a good.
button and a shout out to Gustav.
That's a good question, Chuck.
Um,
Join us in the Discord for that one.
Gustav is bringing the ruckus. What was the German quote? Okay,
No,
we're
stop
not
it.
doing
Stop
that.
it.
So check out the Discord at alfalfapod.com, and we'll see you here next week, Wednesday at 5 p.m. PST, live on YouTube. And I think the boys can be together for an irresponsibly long tomorrow,
Oh yeah, we go
Thursday, 5 p.m.
Maybe.
PST.
Maybe.
Oh, don't do that.
I have some traveling to
Oh,
do.
fuck
Oh
off.
shit! Really?
Traveling?
Yeah,
Really?
just
Where are you going?
literally landed.
I know.
It's unacceptable.
I have to go to a glam Americana wedding.
Oh, you're
that's
going
true.
To, you're going to a wedding tomorrow.
Just do it earlier.
Maybe. I don't know. Let me
2 p.m.
wake up and see how I feel.
As a listener, I unsubscribe.
Well,
If
I'm
you're
just
gonna
have
change
to,
the schedule on me,
just gonna have to
unsubscribe.
take that risk
Unsubscribe.
as a
He's
human.
got a wedding, man.
Unsubscribe. Consistency.
All right, guys. We
Yeah.
love you lots. As you can tell, we love to stay here with you for another hour, but can't.
I don't even know what's
All
happening
right. We'll see you
anymore.
guys next week. Bye-bye.
Okay, after hours.